All right, trying to keep a sexy vibe in here with a little Barry White this morning on a Throwback Thursday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fans. Get your heads right, all right? Enough. Enough is enough. Get your heads right on a Thursday. Our baseball team's still going to be playing postseason October baseball. So why do you feel so sad? Why do you feel so morose this morning? Why are you so angry? Talking to myself, mostly. I think I'm just tired. I'm tired. Those games, they're like watching double games. Welcome in. Good to have you. Chat blew up. I was all nervous. I looked, I said, man, what a difference a day makes. Nobody's in the chat. Nobody's wanting to talk to us. No, they're here. They're here, and you guys are incredible. An incredible audience. You always have been, and hopefully you always will be. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Rindle. He is the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Good morning, Benjamin.
Good morning. Let's look on the bright side.
Yeah.
We may have 2 or even 3 more baseball games to enjoy and celebrate at Petco Park next week.
Kind of how I felt. I'm not just saying that. I mean, the winning 6 games in a row was going to be a really tall task. And hey, let's not forget, the Dodgers are a pretty good baseball team, and they spent a decent amount of money, more than the gross national product of many, many countries, just to improve their baseball team this offseason. If the Dodgers win the West, let's not act like it's a big surprise or really a big accomplishment. You know what I mean? That's kind of what you're supposed to do. I was looking at payrolls last night. Other than the Mets, the highest payroll teams they're winning their division right now. So this is kind of a foregone conclusion. But it's nice to make them sweat, and you can still make them sweat by winning tonight. So I'm not too worried about it. Our boys got it locked up. Going to be playing in October. We get to see San Diego Padres baseball in October. And but yeah, man, I mean, we'll talk about last night's game. These games are I was talking to one of my best friends back in Texas. Now remember, the Texas Rangers won a World Series last season. And this guy still was like, he's a football guy through and through. His name's Mark. He goes, all right, tell me the whole thing. Give me the whole recap of the game. So I told him the whole thing about the triple play and how rare that was and laid it out. He goes, oh, my God, that must have been incredible. He said, so what are these games like between Padres and Dodgers? I said, all right, think of how you feel. He's a Texas Longhorns honk, man. Like the biggest, like planning his wedding around a Texas Longhorn game. He's 51 years old, right? Still, he goes back for games. He's a booster. He's a honk, man. So I go, when you guys play Oklahoma, Texas OU, I go, do that 14 times in a row. He goes, well, the difference is, you only get one shot at him. I go, okay, fine. You're right. I said, but that feeling when you wake up on Texas OU day and you're sick to your stomach and you're running to the crapper and you're snapping at everyone around you in your life because you just want this game to get going and you want it to get over? I said, that's how it feels. I said, do it. How many times we played the Dodgers?
13. Well, so it'll be 13 after today.
13 after. Go do 13 Texas OU games and tell me how you feel. It drains you. You watch these games, it's draining, and especially if you're online, you're talking S all day. They're talking S at you. It's a draining scene. So when that game ended last night, I was like, I got to get to sleep. And it's probably 11 o'clock when I hit the sack finally, which is not great for me. Something happened to our beloved Benny, though, that really domed me out. Did you get it all squared away?
I mean, not really, but we'll muddle through today.
Okay. What'd you do? How does this happen?
I don't know. There's something,
in the year of our Lord 2024, this is something you see in a movie where you're like, oh, no.
It's happened to me like 3 or 4 times, which is unacceptable.
I woke
That's
up to
unacceptable.
The text messages, and I was sitting there. It's like 4:15. I'm reading my phone, and I'm just squinting. I'm like, you effing boomers.
It
like
usually
these
yeah.
olds that I work with.
I know. It usually only happens when I'm at home, and I was at home last night. I wasn't working at Channel 10, working all weekend. So
you were off last night.
They gave me Tuesday and Wednesday off. So I'm at home and was watching the game and typing throughout the game on my couch, just putting together all my notes and thoughts on all the playoff races as I do every day in my notes. And I was just about done wrapping things up after the game at like 10:20 and go, I'm going to get to bed. All right, this is perfect. And somehow, something to do with the trackpad or my left finger, my pinky finger when I'm typing. I don't know how I do it, but I'm typing, like I put it all into my email to send, and I hit something fast, and I see something pop on the screen. It's like confirmation, like, you really want to delete this? And then before I've even had a chance to see, it's gone. It's like, yeah, I'll confirm, and then it's gone. And there's no way to get it back. There's no way to recover it. And I just did 2.5 hours of work and deleted it all the second before I got to hit send, and it was gone. It's like, is there not like a save as you go sort of function? I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
It's literally supposed to.
I'm an old guy, so.
Auto save.
I mean, usually does in my drafts, but when you actually confirm, like, are you sure you want to delete this and have it be unrecoverable?
Yes.
Because by the time I see it, it's already, like, my finger does it automatically somehow.
What did you?
It's like it's one quick motion and just, delete confirm before I even, like, look down, and it's gone. So I'm an idiot. That's fine.
Save that. We always need clips that identify our personality. That's a good one. How does that happen? Did you go to your deleted?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I go to the deleted, the trash folder. There's nothing in there anymore because I've already confirmed I want it gone from my life completely.
So I use...
I should use a different app. I'm just in the MS, like I'm in the Outlook Mail, and that's where I just copy and paste and send it every day. But for some reason, it doesn't let you recover, like, deleted emails.
How about a Google Doc that saves as you go?
Yeah, I could do that way. I should probably change my formats because this has happened like 3 or 4 times now.
Take everything you got on your notes because your notes, they're copious notes, but you also have notes on there from 1994.
I copy most of, I delete some stuff as it gets a little bit older, but I keep most of it there for reference.
Because you're like Andre
months.
Rison with 7 catches for 120 yards. I'm like, I don't know that we'll get to Falcons Bills.
Hey, in case you guys
from
were wondering,
87 today.
These are actually from Ben's notes that he sent last night.
Yep.
UConn beat Purdue 75-60 to win the national men's championship
You're
for
kidding?
basketball.
Yeah,
well, that's coming
year.
up at 7:30. We'll go over that. What else we got?
WCC added Grand Canyon and Seattle U to their conference.
They did.
That, even if that was current, we'd never mention that ever. So you don't need that. I'm gonna help. Let's help
Chip
him.
Kelly left UCLA.
You are kidding me?
Are you guys kidding me?
Chip Kelly's gone.
This is just a reminder, like, where's Chip Kelly? I'm thinking, where's Chip Kelly? And I've got it in my notes. Oh, yeah, he went to Ohio State.
I'm reading Ben's
to
college
become their offensive coordinator.
Nick Saban retired.
Nick Saban out. He's out.
What the hell is he going to do?
Breaking news on
if they're gonna
97.3, The Fan.
I wonder if we're going to see him on, like, College Game Day now.
Is this eyewash? Are his notes just eyewash? Because you look at them, you're like, oh, those are copious notes. But those aren't every day.
No, they get added to and subtracted from every day, but a lot of it's copy and pasted from the day before.
Harrison Butker hit a 29-yard field goal with 3 seconds left in the Super Bowl.
Alan Trammell, 3 for 4 last night. Really, really good night for the guys, for the Tigers. All right.
Jim Harbaugh is the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers.
So number one, copy and paste that into Google Docs. Then, why don't you go through and clean those up a little bit? You were talking about your house and how it's collected.
I do clean them up a little bit. I decided I wanted to keep everything that's in there. Like, I need to know.
You do not need to know about Harrison Butker.
Right, what school did Lamont Butler transfer from San Diego State to in the offseason?
Hold on, what was the question?
Lamont Butler transferred from San Diego State. NIL, got a big NIL deal. Where is he going to play college basketball this season? Without looking at my notes.
Lamont Butler is the Kentucky Wildcats.
That's right.
Yeah, you know what I just did? I went to Google.
Why do your notes have Padres non-tender Austin Nola and Tim Hill? That was like a year ago.
You know what? I kept all the off-season moves because at some point we're going to want to go like,
holy
all right,
crap.
how did all these moves work out for the Padres in 2024?
Manny Machado had surgery for tennis elbow.
He did.
Tennis elbow.
Yeah,
thank God
4
for
to
these
6 months
notes.
of recovery.
You're a hoarder. Even with your notes, you're a hoarder.
I can probably delete that one.
You can delete some of those. Yeah, breaking. Vince Ferragamo retires from the NFL, says Steve Davis.
Padres have claimed Tucapita Marcano off waivers from the Pittsburgh Pirates.
That's not in there.
It is in
no,
there.
it's not.
It is.
All right. So
whatever happened to that guy?
So there we go. All right. So we fixed a couple problems here today. Number one, we got to get you off of whatever app you're using. Get you over to Google Docs. That'll save it for you as you go. And then you need to clean it up a little bit because we won't. Chip Kelly, we're good. I mean, and the Grand Canyon thing, like I said, we wouldn't even mention it if it happened today.
I might mention it. I'm
Getting
getting to it.
Nate Colbert hits a pair of dingers. I can do this all day. We can do real or fake Ben's notes. Does Ben actually have this in his notes? Real or fake?
Randy Jones sets a franchise record with a 1 hour and 8 minutes complete game.
So good. So good. So you lost most of your notes. Now, the other thing you said was you lost some of your roundtable ideas?
I lost all my roundtable questions as well. So I stayed up and recreated those, mostly from memory. I mean, once you've typed it,
Yeah.
it
kinda
helps
comes
you
back.
remember it. It comes back a little faster.
It was
so.
your text that I woke up to that said,
I was mad.
trying to decide
would
if I
be
should
too.
start over or go to bed. This was at 10:09 p.m. I'm going to be up until 1 a.m. now. You should not be spending 3 hours on
Correct.
any notes.
These
But
notes.
especially these notes.
Especially these notes. I wrote it, I write back.
Go to bed.
Go to bed.
Go to bed. I'd rather have you fresh and curious in here every day than well prepared. Really. We all watch the game. We know what happened. We'll be able to talk about that here in a few minutes. But yeah, man, it was it's a Padres Dodger game. It's going to take a little bit out of you for a while. I woke up this morning and today's the big day. Aloha. Is that how you say goodbye as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Aloha to my beloved bride. As she gets on a plane this morning with 3 of her girlfriends and heads off to Kauai again.
Cause
And,
I'm an island boy,
Girl.
and I've been trying
Well,
to make.
I'm
Oh,
worried
an
about her.
island
Girl.
boy.
I'm worried about her running into island boys while she's over there.
Big bomber class if I was in a
Is she going to get a little wild, or are they going to get a little, like, relaxed? What's the
Now,
plan?
her wild is different than like my wild. Her wild is a couple of margaritas, and that's about it. But I will say yesterday, this was kind of funny. You guys are familiar with the concept of spray tanning, yes?
I am very familiar with it.
Okay. So she
I've
does.
never done it myself.
I haven't either. And I mean, back when Ben and I were coming up in the 90s, yeah, I'd hit the tanning salon every now and then if I felt
You
like
hit the tanning salon.
my best friend owned one. So I'd go shoot the breeze with him and be like, okay,
You'd sit in one of those beds,
Yeah, you lay in the
tanning
bed. You lay in the bed.
light on top, light on dark.
Get a little color. It was nice.
Did you go
Nude.
fully nude?
Fully nude.
No tan line woods.
I did the little Playboy bunny on my hip. You put a little sticker there just so you know how tan you got. So I do that.
Is this when you were in Connecticut and you're just like
No,
you're the
this is-
only tan person around? It's the middle of February.
Everybody else is a vampire. No, this is years later back in Texas. But I would. So she goes yesterday and gets a spray tan, and she goes, "I'm leaving. I'll be back. I'm going to get a spray tan." I said, "Okay, have fun." And she walked back in, and I went, "Ah!" And she goes, "Well,
The reaction every lady is always looking for.
the dream reaction." And I go, "Huh." And she goes, I know. It's we went a little bit too dark." And I go, "You're gonna walk around like that?" And she goes, "Yeah. I mean, what choice do I have?" I go, I'll take Boda soccer. It's fine. You just stay here in the house and not let anyone see you walking around like this for the rest of the day, and it will dissipate, a little bit until you leave. You'll look normal. She looked normal this morning, but I said in this moment today,
You can't shower it off.
no,
or
you don't want to.
scrub it off.
Right, right.
If you don't like it, it's there for a while.
But it gives it a little time. It's got to soak in or whatever the hell it does. But I said, it'd be better if you weren't out in public at all. And then maybe somebody would see you and be like, "Hey, aren't you Woodsy's wife? Woodsy, is everything okay at home?" I mean, she was like orange. She's got blonde hair. She looked like Tan Mom. If you've ever seen Tan Mom from the Howard Stern show, terrifying. And I said, I would have read. I'll go to soccer practice and the grocery store. I'll do it all. You can, anytime she wants to get out of something, she can just go get a spray tan. But so she was there. She looks great this morning. Big hug and kiss, embrace this morning, and now she's gone for like 5 days.
and thoughts
So,
and prayers to you now, single dad for the next 5 days.
I like it. I like it. I'm looking forward to the challenge. Me and the rest of the dads are looking forward to the challenge because all the women in our lives have all prepared documents that they resemble the Constitution of things that we need to make sure we do while they're gone. And all of us men took it very personally. Like, what do you think? We're morons? And so I'm looking forward to the challenge of being the single dad for a few days. But I just don't want her to worry. I want her to go have a great time and not worry about what's going on at home. I can handle those dudes.
I would trust you.
Yeah,
for a few days,
bro. 100%. Like I can handle this. I was like, hey, you know what? I know that they need their clothes laid out.
You idiot.
I know that they wear clothes to school. I've got it. You know how I know? Because I'm their dad. I know exactly where they need to be. Yeah, there she is in the chat. If you're looking right now, that's a
You moron.
decent representation of what Hannah looked like when she walked in yesterday. But so she's out today. We'll probably have some interesting stories of what's gone down at the house. But yeah, I'm up for the challenge. Up for the task.
All right, you ready to get going on this program?
Not really,
All
but
right.
I'm here.
I've got my usual magic number updates for you. Not to clinch a playoff spot. That is already done. You can't take that away. That's a nice thing. Once you've clinched,
Can't lose it.
you can't lose it. That's the that's the definition of clinched right there. But there are some other things to play for your San Diego Padres, and we'll give you the update when we come back. Lay out the menu for a Thursday program. Glad to have you with us, Padres fans. This ride is not going to be without a bump or two the rest of the way. So strap in, and we'll be here until 10 o'clock and then 11 for the round table this morning with Betta Woods and Paul on the round table today, too. On San Diego's number, we'll talk about that.
Welcome.
On San Diego's #1 sports station, let's check Kelly's traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else. Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
I think I'm going to miss magic number or update when the season is
I
over.
will not. Not even.
Is this the last one?
No, I mean, until everything is clinched all the way through. I mean, we can do this tomorrow. I think tomorrow will probably be the last one, although we'll talk about it. There looks like there's going to be a couple of games on Monday as well that could still impact the National League playoff chase. But with the loss last night,
Yeah, we'll talk about that at 7 a.m.
The Dodgers have reduced their magic number now to 2 to clinch the National League West title, which means if they won tonight, that would be a win, 1, and a Padres loss, 2. They would be able to celebrate on their home field. So the Padres can stop that from happening with a win tonight. Padres still playing for both the NL West title, still an outside chance at it. We can talk about that as well. But to clinch the wild card home field advantage, the number 4 seed in the playoffs, their magic number is, well, just 1 over the Arizona Diamondbacks. So they can knock the Diamondbacks out of the 4th seed possibility with a win tonight.
Okay.
But it's 2 against the Mets because the Mets have the tiebreaker. And so the Padres cannot clinch that tonight because the Mets game has already been postponed, as was yesterday. So Padres can reduce that to 1. All they need is any combination of 2 wins by the Padres or 2 losses by the Mets or 1 and 1 of each. And the Padres would be assured of playing at home at the very least in the first round of the playoffs next week.
Which would be incredible and what we've been talking about for weeks. Once that scenario presented itself of, a chance to win the West, but you knew you needed to win 6 games in a row. Yeah, awesome. Totally doable. You believe you have the team to do it. Just didn't work out. Didn't work out last night. You got beat. So, hey, man, onward and upward. On to the next bullet, check mark on the bulletin board. And if you can get that, man, I think, had you told any of us that was possible playing home playoff games in October, we would have said that you are on mushrooms or on an ayahuasca trip with Aaron Rodgers. There's just no way. I just said there's no way. But damned if they didn't go out there and do it, man. So not to take anything away from them, but 6 games in a row was a bit of a tall order. You felt like you had them on the ropes a little bit, and you did feel like you had a chance to win that game a couple times last night. And listen, they beat our hungover asses by 1 run last night. And so a lot of things to clean up about last night's game, certainly if you're the San Diego Padres. But my level of concern is nil. 0. None.
We will talk about it coming up in our Padres wrap-up. That's our next segment. And you said they were hungover, and it's funny. I was looking at the lead line of Kevin Acey's game recap is it wasn't because they celebrated. I was joking. They really want to take that narrative away. I don't know how it doesn't have at least a tiny impact on your mentality. I know you're not. No one's going to like this take that I have, but we can talk about whether or not what happened on Tuesday impacted Wednesday at all for the San Diego Padres. I'm not saying that they were hungover. I don't think they were. I'm not saying they weren't prepared. I know they were prepared for the game yesterday. I have no doubt about it. They put in their work. I do think, though, that it's impossible to say you are absolutely at your peak after you've just clinched the night before. Did you see the Astros, how bad they looked the night after clinching? Just awful yesterday against the Mariners. Now, they didn't have anything to play for, but they looked awful yesterday against the Mariners. It does happen. It is a real thing, the old day after you've clinched, not playing your best.
Phillies won.
No, teams win for sure after they've clinched.
Phillies won last night and the day before, I believe. Yeah, listen, I'm not going to – I don't think they were. I don't think that has anything to do with it, but we can certainly talk about it.
All right, we will go through the game yesterday with our Padres wrap-up. As Wood said, the scene unfolding in the National League because of the scheduled now postponements between the Mets and Braves going to impact the Padres, I think, one way or another. We'll talk about that at 7 o'clock. And then play a little real or fake. We didn't get to any of our games or anything yesterday with so much to talk about and celebrate after the clincher on Tuesday. We'll try to qualify someone for a trip to Las Vegas in our real or fake contest at 7:10. Don't Do This is back at 7:20. We'll continue taking your thoughts on the Padres at 7:35. And then in our second half of the show, it is a Smart Baseball Thursday, final one of the regular season. Eno Sarris from The Athletic is going to be with us at 8:35. Paulie's got some Roundel Report headlines for us. And
we can probably get Eno during the playoffs, too, at some point.
I would think that he will join us. This is just the final regular season edition.
Yeah, wrapping up the regular season here on Bennett Woods.
Absolutely.
It's pretty crazy, dude.
And we got some more Oktoberfest, La Besa Oktoberfest VIP tickets to give away before the end of the program. So let's get started. We'll jump into last night's close one, 4-3 loss to the Dodgers in our Padres wrap-up when we come back with Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Just a little bit.
Whom?
At some of our tier ones.
Why?
In our chat. Because they're already giving me, like, don't do this, Ben. Don't bring up the celebration and blame it for the loss last night. Do you think that I'm going to come up with some half-baked, unsupported take? Am I a hot take machine? Yeah, you've known me for 7 years. Well, am I a hot take machine?
I didn't think you were until today.
Well, I haven't laid out my argument yet.
Okay. Well, I feel like it's
I think at the very least, all of you out there, including you two in this room, owe it to me to hear me out what I have to say about last night's game. We will get to that in just a moment. This segment of Ben and Woods brought to you by Indeed. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all year round. Schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from your Indeed dashboard. Learn more by visiting Indeed.com/credit. It's been a while, but it is a shame if they lose.
It's a shame if they lose.
Our Padres wrap-up coming up right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. Well, they finally cleared that crash on northbound 5 Coastline before the racetrack. Now, northbound side of the 15 before the 56. Accident involving a couple vehicles. That is over to the right shoulder. Also want to mention a structure fire in Escondido that's got a little traffic control in place. Mission Avenue and Broadway, so you might want to avoid that area. Stop by into the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car. It usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame if they lose.
Oh, a shame indeed.
It's a complete crap.
Oh, I did not like that.
Here are the lowlights from yesterday's game.
Are you kidding me?
Boo.
It's the Padres wrap-up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else.
We'll give it 16 minutes of salt, and then we'll, get back on the bump and figure it out.
It's not your fault.
Look back at Ohtani now. The pitch. Hernandez lines it towards right center. Merrill coming in. Has to play it on a hop. It'll bounce down in front of him. And an RBI single for Teoscar Hernandez gives the Dodgers a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first inning. 3-2 hit hard on a line through the left side and into left field, a base hit. Machado has scored. Merrill goes to third base. RBI single Xander Bogaerts, and a 1-1 game in the second. First pitch on the way. Left-hand hitter swings. Hits a laser towards the right field corner, and it will hit off the wall. Fernando plays it, sends it back in. Lux has scored. Rojas now coming home as the throw got away on the infield, but Solano able to track it down, and Rojas retreated to third base. It's an RBI double by Ohtani, and the Dodgers are back in front 3-2. 2-1. Fernando hits a rocket out to deep left field. This one way back gonna go. Game-tying home run. Fernando Tatis Jr. 3-3 in the fifth, and there was absolutely no doubt. 2-2 now to the left-handed batter. Morejon delivers. Hard hit grounder off the mound into right center. That's a base hit. Smith rounding third. He's going to score. Merrill's throw goes into second base. An RBI single, Shohei Ohtani. And the Dodgers are back in front. Seesaw we go. It's 4-3. 2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. 1-0-1 on the heater. And the Dodgers do counterpunch. They end the Padres' 5-game winning streak. And the Padres are 3 back in the West with 4 games to go. Final score here tonight, LA 4, San Diego 3. Have ourselves a big old rubber match here tomorrow night.
The walks were a little abnormal for us. We have been throwing a lot of strikes. Been a big part of our success. Bottom of the order contributed for them, turn it over to the top. So, it's typically what we do pretty much every night. And it's a good recipe for us. And that worked for them a little bit tonight.
You know what that was, Woods?
What?
That was a playoff type game.
Yeah.
And it was close.
Yeah.
And usually those games will be decided by 1 or 2 clutch hits. And last night, the Dodgers got them and the Padres didn't. And Mike Schultz is right.
Shohei got them.
Shohei got them, yeah. 6 walks is a little uncharacteristic for the Padres. But the Dodgers also walked 6. The difference was only The Padres only scored one of those 6, Manny's walk in the second inning. Dodgers scored 2 of those 6 walks. Padres lose by 1. It's not like holding the Dodgers to 4 runs is an embarrassment.
No, and you think about the guys that you didn't really have to pitch last night. You didn't use Ass. Ass got the night off.
You didn't. Yeah, Padres.
Anytime you can give Ass a night off and Ass is ready for today and you can deploy Ass at will, then you take your chance and you still lose by 1. And I'm not looking in here saying, man, we should have used Ass, last night. No,
the bullpen was good.
The bullpen was absolutely
other than
good.
Jeremiah Estrada, who came in and walked a couple of guys. After that, the bullpen was very good.
Yeah, and he doesn't even drink. So there you go.
But that's not my take. That's not my take. And I am not blaming the Padres for celebrating. I think they deserved it. They should have celebrated the game last night. But
the night before.
Yeah, the game the night before. They should have celebrated and enjoyed themselves, and I have no problem with that. And I don't think anyone looked hungover or, not focused. That's not what I'm talking about. But in a very close game like that, the Padres are characteristically a pretty clutch team. Didn't come through in the clutch. They were 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Didn't get any big 2-out hits. Their pitching staff, which normally locked in, doesn't walk a lot of guys, walked a lot of guys. It was a bit of an uncharacteristic game from your San Diego Padres. What was different, other than, just random baseballness, what was different? And I truly think that when you play 157 games and have that just emotional release, they could have not popped one champagne cork and just gave each other hugs. There's going to be an emotional letdown the day after you have clinched a playoff spot playing 157 games, and there's nothing you can do to avoid it. I don't think you're going to be at your best. Now, had the Padres lost by 4 or 5, wouldn't have mattered. Had they won that game, they could have won that game by 4 or 5, wouldn't have mattered. But in a close game like that, when you're talking about highly attuned professional athletes, and they will tell you, hey, I'm a creature of habit. Everything I do, prescribed to the minute. The sleep, how I get to the ballpark, how I prepare myself. The only way I survive a 162-game season is by not deviating my routine at all. But you have to deviate your routine when you celebrate, when you win a big game like that. You're not going to feel exactly the same the next day. So in that sense, in that very innocent sense, I do think yesterday's game was impacted by the night before.
I feel like Tony Gwynn Jr. right now, and you're Matt Scraby, because I heard Matt Scraby getting chewed out from Tony Gwynn Jr. yesterday for some, takes that kind of fell in line with Ben's. Now, I will give you this. The emotional release, you're absolutely right. I mean, that the fact that, man, we did it, we clinched, we still have work to do. Of course, we know that there's still something to play for. I do think that was smart. Somebody said I have a bat in the cave. Do I? A bug?
I see. I think it's part of your mustache.
My mustache?
It looks kind of like it might be, but I think you're okay. I've never heard that expression. A bat
in the cave? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like mining. I've heard of mining for like gold. No, I don't see any. I mean, in your mustache, there's something like right below the left nostril, but I think it's just the hair. The way the light is hitting the hair.
There's a bit of a stop down.
That's your Padres wrap up.
Yeah.
What's his booger? It's been more boogery lately. The older you get, the more boogery you get, and hairy. Hair in my ears and stuff, which I don't really want. And my nose hair, I trim 4 times a week.
Do you?
Yeah.
Religious about that.
Yeah, because I don't want that to happen. Sorry about that. Thanks, Liver, for completely spinning me out.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, look, you lost to a very good team.
Oh, yeah.
And you let the best player on the planet beat you a couple times. And you lost by 1. Like, it was a close game.
Yeah, I mean, there plenty of opportunities.
I would have been more concerned and falling more in line with Ben's thinking if they did lose by like 6 yesterday.
Like,
just get bodied.
You guys weren't ready to play.
Right.
I think they were ready to play.
That was a coin flip game.
I absolutely. They just weren't. They weren't at their peak Padres-ness last night. It was kind of a
grit squad,
a non-Padres, non-grit squaddy game that they couldn't get a hit in the last few innings when they normally get all kinds of hits. Now the Dodgers also had their high leverage relievers rested and ready to go.
I was just going to say
they brought them all in. I mean, that's going to give them the advantage in a game like that.
Let me do the anti-Dave Roberts and give credit to the other team and not just say, well, our guys were weak and hungover and emotionally drained. I'm going to do the anti-Dave Roberts. I'm going to say the Dodgers brought in some really, really high-leverage, high-power arms like Blake Trinan, who's effing nasty and has been, and Evan Phillips, who was their closer at one point, and Michael Kopech. I'm going to give credit to those three absolute badasses that they are for neutralizing this good Padres offense, which, by the way, that's what they're going to do in October. So, again, I saw a bunch of stuff from Dave and the Dodgers. Well, we just haven't matched their energy this year. You know, I saw Alden Gonzalez. They'll say, well, Dodgers just look flat. Well, it just couldn't be the fact that the Padres are better and playing better and have whipped your ass in this series this whole season, right? It's got to be something wrong with the Dodgers, not something positive. I'm going to go the opposite, and I'm going to say credit where credit is due. The high-leverage guys that you spent a lot of money for came in and got the job done last night. That's what full credit to Blake Trinan's nasty-ass sliders and Evan Phillips' dominance and Michael Kopech being ridiculous.
Doesn't it feel like in 2 games this series that anytime there's been a clutch moment, Ohtani's either up to bat or on deck?
Yeah.
Like he's always right there. Because
every time you look up, that's
that's why you can't be.
Jesus.
That's why you can't be walking guys at the bottom of the Dodgers order.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I almost said it.
I dumped it just to be safe.
That's why you can't be walking guys at the bottom of the Dodgers order. They put him first for a reason. Get him up the most.
Good God.
That was close.
If you're putting people on in front of Ohtani, you're asking for trouble. He is.
Yeah, the bottom of their lineup has been kicking our ass.
He's not, and Ohtani's 9 for his last 10 with runners in scoring position.
That is insanity.
Which brings up the strategic question, if you want to ask it.
The strategic question: does he have a camera on somebody?
There was an open base both times Ohtani came up. Now, it was third, but you could have walked him. Now, yes, there's Mookie Betts is an all-star right behind, an MVP right behind Ohtani, and you're putting the bases loaded for Mookie. You're also asking for a lot of trouble there.
Yeah.
But the Padres handled Mookie Betts last night. He's 0 for 4, popped up a bunch of balls. They handled him. They could not handle Ohtani. No one has been able to handle Ohtani. They let Shohei Ohtani beat them with the 2 key RBIs of the game.
So I saw somebody tweet last night, every time Shohei gets walked, Mookie gets a knock. So, I'm sure they have those numbers of like, all right, anytime he gets the old 4-finger discount to first base, Mookie comes up big. Mookie has not been playing well. This is why that's the beauty of their lineup. That's why they can win a lot of baseball games because, if your 8 and 9 guys find a way on, well, look who's coming up, a guy with 53 bombs. Look, frankly, I was just happy. I'm happy that they kept him in the ballpark. And everyone now going, well, of course you go after Mookie. He was 0 for 4. It's Mookie Betts,
and he wasn't
dude.
0 for 4 at the time. He was 0 for 4
right.
after the game, but he was 0 for 2 or 0 for 3. But
it's Mookie Betts. Yes, he's 0 for 8 in the series. He's also an MVP. He also has huge numbers. Like, I understand it. The Barry Bonds treatment for Shohei is probably what he'll get in the playoffs.
I was just going to ask. In the playoffs,
yeah, it's different.
I think that game goes way different.
Why would you manage last night any different than you would a playoff game?
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense. If you do it in the playoffs, do it last night.
Well, I think you see I think it's a challenge to your guys too. Like, can you get him out? We brought a lefty in to get him out.
Beyond challenge to the guys. That's something you do early in the season. This is game 158.
Well, I mean, Dylan Cease got him out. Dylan Cease made him look foolish at one point. So he is fallible. He's not. I mean, I know he's 9 for 10 with runners in scoring position.
Tanner Scott got him on
Tanner
Tuesday,
Scott got him out. You can get him out.
I don't think you should walk him on every situation.
Right.
But when there's runners on,
I don't want to load the base. I'm sorry. Like loading the bases for Mookie Betts just seems like, oh, hey, let me kick the hornet's nest here. Let me light a fire.
God forbid you walk him or he gets a hit. Then you got Freddie Freeman coming up right behind him with the bases loaded.
Yeah, and again, you know what?
It's a recipe to get completely bodied.
It absolutely is.
It really is.
But
in a close game, it also might be your best chance to win avoid him right now.
I'm sorry. You keep that dude in the ballpark, that's a dub. It's a dub. You keep him in the ballpark. You'll take a single from Ohtani. You'll take a double from Ohtani every single time. Give me 4 singles from Shohei Ohtani. Your problem is you got Miguel Rojas on base. You got Gavin Lux on base.
You're walking the 7,
8, or 9 guys. That's what's killing you. Joseph says Betts, an 0 for 8 Mookie Betts scares me to no end because you know what's not going to happen? 0 first. It's not going to continue unless maybe in October like it did last year.
I promise you, in Game 3, if Fernando Tatis Jr. or Manny Machado were 0 for 8 in the first 2 games, they would still strike fear in their opponents.
There is no question about it, man. So, look, I thought all in all, a couple of mistakes made. You know, Dylan Cease, I didn't see anything from him other than my man was pretty amped up to pitch that game, and for good reason. Now, still hung in there, gave up 3 runs, hung in there really well, and made some big pitches when he had to. But you think about it, man, the ball that got away from Diaz ends up costing you a run. The walks, a couple of them cost you a run. So, listen, I'm not – it's hard for me to come in here and be super pissed losing to a team with
I'm not.
You know what I mean?
I'm not angry. I don't think that Mike Schilt necessarily made a mistake. I'm just going back and looking at ways you might have been able to do it differently last night. In hindsight, it's very easy to manage baseball games in hindsight.
It's literally the easiest thing.
Yeah, if Mike Schilt had been told, by the way, Shohei Ohtani's going to get a single here and a double here, and he's going to drive in runs, but you could walk him and take your chances with Mookie. He'd walk him and take his chances with Mookie if he knew for sure Ohtani was going to get a hit.
This is a good question. Ryan says, will we see better umpiring in the playoffs? No. I can say unequivocally no. When the scorecard comes out today, though, it was so evenly egregious for both sides.
Really bad.
And I mean, guys, we're talking 2-3 balls off the plate sometimes. He was guessing. He was guessing again. You'd love to have that a little bit more honed in.
All right, we will continue with the Padres talk and the fallout from a pair of postponements between the Mets and the Braves and how it could impact the Padres coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan. I think we got something else to root for these last few days as Padres fans in the playoff chase. And we can debate about which team you'd want to face if they do host a wild card series. Is it the Diamondbacks, who've been struggling at least until yesterday when they beat the Giants and avoided the sweep?
Zach Gallen nasty.
Yeah,
yesterday.
which is who you'd probably have to face
Yep.
in the first game. Or would you rather face maybe a Mets team who's been fantastic, but it could be a Mets team that has to play a doubleheader in Atlanta on Monday, the day before the wild card series starts.
Sign me up. Yes.
So this is this was the result of the hurricane moving into the southeast.
Hurricane Helene.
Helene, yes, and the Braves, with the state of emergency being declared and the rain and no roof, had to postpone both yesterday and today's final two games of that series, that critical series between the Mets and the Braves. And
So they postponed yesterday's game. Then they
and
postponed.
they've already banged today's game.
Okay.
So in the standings, the Mets are currently a game ahead of the Braves. They're tied with the Diamondbacks and a game ahead of the Braves in the wild card race. So obviously these two games are
Massive.
incredibly important, as only two of those three teams will make the playoffs at the end of the season. Those teams will now go on to their final regular season series. The Mets leave, they go to Milwaukee, and will play the Brewers for 3. The Braves will remain home, assuming the weather clears up, and on Friday they will take on the Kansas City Royals for 3.
Question. You said assuming. Now, I saw a picture of their field yesterday. It's gnarly down there. I mean, it's really, really bad. Are they going to not only be able, are they going to be able to play this series in Kansas City? Is that a definite that's going to go down? And
It's in Atlanta.
That's what I mean,
yeah.
against Kansas City in Atlanta.
If you didn't play Friday, then they'd have to play probably a doubleheader on Saturday. I mean, doubleheader.
Is this thing done? Is the hurricane done, gone?
No, it's passing through now. So, yeah, I don't know what the overall status is going to be. Their grounds crew has got a lot of work to do to get that field ready.
All the talk was about Monday, but I also saw, like you just mentioned, there's the potential for a doubleheader Saturday, play Sunday, one game, doubleheader Monday, and then travel.
And then you travel for a wild
most
card
likely
series opener on Tuesday.
San Diego across the
So,
country. Good God.
They will only play that doubleheader, according to Rob Manfred's office, if it does impact the playoff race. But the likelihood is very high that it will. Again, they're separated by a game. The tiebreaker hasn't been decided. The Braves lead 6-5, so either team could still win the tiebreaker based on the last two games of the season. So as long as they're within 2 games going into Monday, like after Sunday, as long as the Braves don't fall 3 games behind the Mets, so if they lost 2 games to the Mets, they could be eliminated and it wouldn't matter.
The Braves play the Royals at home.
Yes.
Okay, for 3 games.
But if they stay within a game of the Diamondbacks as well, that could also impact it. So, there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to these final 3 playoff spots. And those teams will likely have to play a doubleheader on Monday, which would start at, I think, 1:05 Eastern. So you figure, all right, 4:05, then you play again at 4:30. You finish around 7:30 Eastern. You shower, change, get to the airport around 10. You fly to the West Coast. You save 3 hours on the flight, but you're probably checking into a hotel 2 a.m. or so, 2:30 a.m. at the Omni, and then you've got to get up. And I don't know what time the game would be scheduled on Tuesday. You would think it would be the latest game, but I heard something crazy that I didn't realize as well this morning. I heard Steve Phillips, the former GM, talking about it. On Tuesday, there's also a vice presidential debate on all the networks at 7 p.m. And Major League Baseball doesn't want to play a game opposite that. So they're planning on basically all-day games on Tuesday as well. I don't know how late they'd start. Maybe like 4 would be the latest. They'd possibly start on the West
for
Coast.
The last game.
Which means you've got not only a doubleheader, a cross-country flight, a check-in at a hotel at 3, you may have to get in and get to the ballpark by, 10, 11 a.m. for an afternoon game in the wild card as well, having perhaps used, obviously 2 of your starters, probably all of your bullpen, not to mention whatever you had to use on Sunday as well, because those games are just as important. Whoever, if it's the Mets that are coming to town, They could be absolutely torched by the time they get to San Diego.
Braves too.
Braves too, if it's them. Now, if it's the Diamondbacks, they'll probably be rested and ready with a short flight, but they've been struggling lately. You probably have to face Zach Gallen. I'm starting to lean toward I might want to face one of those NL East teams in the wild card race, which was the exact opposite of what I thought a couple of days ago.
Yeah, and the only thing, I guess the counter argument to it is that when faced with something like this, can be a nice little unifier for the team. Like, hey, man, this is what's ahead of us. It's in our hands.
Oh, it's a great story if you get through it.
If you get through it, you go kick everybody's ass after, everything that's thrown at you. But here's the thing, too, that I was seeing yesterday. I saw Met fans being mad at Braves fans. I saw Braves fans being mad at Met fans, basically saying, we could have all come together, found a neutral site, and got these games in. There was an open stadium in Miami with a roof. Could have gone down and done that.
Should everybody just be mad at the MLB?
At Major League Baseball, yeah.
You can't plan for that last year when you wrote the schedule. You can't plan for a hurricane, but they knew it was coming.
But they knew it was
weekend.
coming. They knew it was coming. They didn't do really anything preventatively to make some changes. Now, look, it's a logistical nightmare. I wouldn't wish it on anyone that had to figure that out. But it's kind of why Rob Manfred makes $20 million a year or whatever he makes. So. I do think that, that probably could have been handled better, but you have to get buy-in from both teams, Paulie, and apparently the Braves were like, we don't want to lose revenue for 2 home games. We don't want to lose that revenue, which, again, I do understand. So if you don't want to lose revenue for 2 home games, and now you have this big gauntlet you have to face, who are you blaming other than you can't blame the weather?
You can cynically say it's revenue. You can also say that the competitive advantage of playing at home in the maybe most 2 important games of the year, no team is going to want to give up that advantage of getting to play at home with the 2 games that'll probably determine whether they make the playoffs or not. Yeah, that's fine. Let's just go to Miami or Philly and play those instead. Yeah, there's an argument to be made for it. So I've seen people say the commissioner needs to step in, best interest of baseball, and just say, Braves, sorry, I'm taking this decision away from you. But they let the Braves make the decision. The Braves said, well, if we get to make it, we want to play at home, and we'll wait until Monday to do so. So that's the plan right now.
New York Mike says they both had an off day this past Monday. That something could have been done.
They did. The Mets played the night game on Sunday, but they could have made it work. I mean, I don't know how many games in a row or anything they've played before that.
What was the other scenario you were telling me where they may end up banging games for a team entirely? Now, that would piss me off.
So if the commissioner's office has said if those games don't impact the playoff race, so say the Braves get swept by the Royals and the Mets and Diamondbacks both clinch playoff spots on Sunday, they just won't play those 2. And the Mets and Braves will finish with 160 games rather than 162.
I would argue that still impacts the playoffs because a playoff team just had to play 2 less games.
Yeah, 2 fewer games, exactly. Jeez, dude. Huh. That's very, very interesting. Somebody just said this is the most interesting way to end the season. It really is. And yeah, man, one thing if you watch baseball a lot, one thing you've learned about baseball, Brett Boone was talking about it yesterday, is being a player and now an analyst. Remember what he said? You go in, you get your pen out, you get your paper out, you take all these notes, and you use your wisdom and experience of years in the game, and you go, these guys are set up for this, and it's going to be great. And then the friggin' playoffs start, and you could have a team cross-country, used every starter that they had. They go out and throw a bullpen day, and they beat the Padres, 3-1. It just... There's no rhyme or reason to it, and it is random, as we talked about yesterday. But sure, you want every advantage you can with a depleted bullpen, with a depleted starting rotation, a tired and weary team flying in. Those teams also scare the crap out of me, either of them that has to do that.
If you want to play real or fake, you can call us now, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, chance to qualify for Vegas. I will say to Benjamin in the chat, in the case of Hurricanes, baseball is not important. No one's arguing that, the results of baseball games are more important than the lives and the safety of people in Atlanta, and you should be playing those games. But to say that it's completely unimportant, after they have played 6 months to decide who gets the playoffs, you can't just say, well, now these games aren't important. We just don't need to play them, or doesn't matter. Oh, the Mets end up a half game ahead. Braves, you don't really deserve to have that chance to play the games. No, they put their heart and soul, it's their life for months and months from the start of spring training, their careers. They deserve an opportunity to play out the schedule completely and have their chance to make the postseason, which impacts those guys' lives for sure. Their chance to, win a World Series, make a name for themselves on the postseason stage. These are their lives, and they do deserve that opportunity.
Look, dude, you want to go down that road, Benjamin. What are we doing in here? There are people sleeping on the streets right now. Shouldn't we be out feeding them? Shouldn't you be out of this chat out helping, kids? Yes, of course. That's the answer. But this is what we're talking about. This is their livelihoods, their careers. Yes, you don't want anybody hurt or killed or anything in a hurricane. In the grand scheme of all of this, nothing that any of us do matters even a tiny little bit. Not even a little bit. So that game's an interesting one to play, but it would be like every topic you brought up, Ben, I would say,
it's not. Well, this isn't the important stuff.
No, there's kids that without school lunch today. Let's handle that.
We're the toy department. We're entertainment. Yeah. I understand that, but it is a very interesting subplot for the final days of the season here that does absolutely impact the Padres as well.
It absolutely does. It impacts the game. It impacts. I mean, think about the players. Of course, obviously, they're the ones that got to go out and execute. But think about the guys behind the scenes, the traveling secretaries, the guys that got to get everything dialed in. The logistical teams right now are sitting and just going. Like, I've talked to our guys here in PR before, and I've asked them, hey, so with all these different scenarios, he goes, bro, we spent 15 hours working on every single scenario that may present itself. And what? You don't use 99% of it. It's pretty insane to think about what goes into all of this to get these games off on a daily basis, and much less when a natural disaster like a hurricane occurs. So I have a lot of sympathy for those guys. I really do. Maybe more than the players, because the players actually get to go out and have fun and play the game and make a lot of money. The guys behind the scenes, holy smokes.
Speaking of playing the game, it is time to play our Throwback Thursday game. It is time for a little real or fake.
Some are here for the compelling sports talk with Ben and Woods. You can go plow through another donut. It's time for Real or Fake on 97.3 The Fan. Tell the people what they'll win today.
Peter is going to have a chance to qualify for our grand prize trip to Las Vegas, 2-night stay at the Wynn or Encore Las Vegas, and 2 tickets to the show Awakening at the Wynn Las Vegas. Get your tickets on sale now at awakening.com. Good morning to you, Peter. What are you up to this morning, other than playing Real or Fake?
Just getting my ticket at the parking garage.
All right, he's at the parking garage. All right, put your thinking cap on, because this is a chance to win a big prize. You just need to get 4 out of 7 correct in Real or Fake. Woods is here to lend you assistance. I think he might be able to help you in this category. Oktoberfest celebrations are getting underway, and as you know, love a good sausage. Today on Real or Fake, we will be separating.
Save it.
He will save it, I know. Today on Real or Fake, we'll be separating the carnivores from the herbivores. Woods, you know what those words mean, right?
Carnivore is a meat eater.
Right, and an herbivore is a plant
eater.
So I'm going to give you a name, Peter. You tell me if it's a real type of sausage found in various places around the world, or a fake, in this case, an exotic fruit or vegetable. So we're talking sausage or plant, fruit or vegetable. All right, round 1. Are you ready to go, Peter?
Yeah.
All right, round 1. Cherimoya. Real or fake type of sausage? Cherimoya.
What do you think?
God, it sounds planty to me. Cherimoya. It really... So real means what?
Sausage, yeah.
Real sausage.
Looking for real sausages here.
Let's
go real.
Yeah, I'm going real.
You going real sausage?
Yeah.
You're wrong. That is a custard apple is what they call that. Kind of a... I don't know. That's I think the texture is unpleasant, but that's all right. All right, apple? 0 for 1. Yeah, a custard apple. Yeah, it's kind of an Asian fruit. All right, round number 2. Let's try black sapote. Real or fake sausage? Black sapote.
Real.
Real? I had never heard of black sapote. Chocolate pudding fruit. It's a fruit. Yeah.
I keep thinking these are things that they make into sausages.
They could be, but they're not so far. All right, round 3. Let's get going here. Lapchung.
Would-be?
I know lap dance. That's the only
Lap chung.
I would. Ben knows it. Ben knows it too. Lap chung reel.
Peter?
Did we lose him?
We need a decision. I think he's still there. He's in the parking garage, right?
Real.
Okay.
Thank goodness. Yes,
Okay,
that
good.
is. It's that Chinese pepperoni stick that you see kind of hanging in the windows sometimes in restaurants. All right, that's a correct answer. Let's go to round 4. Mutura. Real or fake sausage?
Woods, what do you think?
Fake.
He says fake. Peter, what do you say?
Oh, boy. Okay, fake.
Has anyone ever gone against Woods?
That is a Kenyan blood sausage. All right, now we need to be perfect the rest of the way.
I'm not a sausage lover like Ben loves sausage. No one is.
Round 5. Canistel. Real or fake sausage? Canistel.
Real.
Oh, no, it's an egg fruit. That's it. Game is over. You cannot win.
It's been
Woods.
crushed.
Longanisa.
Real.
Filipino breakfast sausage.
Made it up.
Gailan.
Fake.
Chinese broccoli.
Oh, now you step up.
Now, easy as can be.
Sorry,
for
Peter.
Woods. Easy as can be. Peter, thank you for playing. It wasn't to be today on Real or Fake.
Can I just say that when someone offers me, or if I see something that's called blood sausage, I don't want to eat it. Black sausage.
Pudding. Real or fake?
That's
Real.
It's real.
Real. That's a blood sausage
That's
as
a
well.
blood sausage.
It's like the Irish version or English. Black pudding is a sausage
Just
as well.
can you call it something else? Like just sausage?
It's not
Just
pudding.
Sausage. It's not pudding. Number one.
Morcilla. That's a Spanish blood sausage.
Blood. You like blood sausage?
Not really.
Ugh.
It's a little
Is it bloody?
irony.
Oh, is it
It's
bloody?
got that kind of. No, I mean you can have a little. It's dark usually. It's very dark colored.
Dark meat.
Yeah, but it's got that very irony back taste, organ meat kind of flavor.
Delicious.
Not my favorite, but something that people do love for sure.
I'm hungry now.
Blood sausage. I'm good.
All right, Don't Do This is coming up next.
So I heard this discussed yesterday. Man, NIL in college football is really, really taking on a life of its own right now. It is like a runaway bull in Massachusetts. It's just a crazy, crazy story out of UNLV, Ben. I wanted to talk about that. And then the Cleveland Guardians getting up in their feelings last night.
We will get to both of those stories and more next after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
All right, here we go. Black 17 on. That is lined up.
Don't do this today with the story of Matthew Sluka. He is the quarterback for the undefeated UNLV Rebels and the poster child now for what is wrong with college athletics and NIL. Matthew Sluka, at least according to his version of events, was promised $100,000 of NIL money if he would transfer. I think he went to Holy Cross Senior, transfer for his last season to lead the Rebels offense. And then he started the season. Rebels have played well. He's led them to wins in their first 3 games. They're talking about, maybe winning a championship, maybe getting that playoff spot for the non-Power 4 conferences. But that $100,000 was never materializing. And according to his agent, Marcus Cromartie, he said that verbal agreement has not come through. So Matthew Sluka said, well, hey, if you're not paying, I'm not playing. Wow. And I am going to now sit out and transfer. Because once you play 4 games, you can't redshirt. But if you only play 3 games, you can say, I'm redshirting this year. And he's going to now re-enter the transfer portal and try to get one more season and one more NIL payoff somewhere else. But, of course, UNLV fans are completely up in arms. They like the season is started.
Sad,
he's playing for them. They're playing well. And now they lose their quarterback. Now, what happened? Where is this money? Was it really promised? what is going on. And I think the don't do this, and you can blame the kid, you can blame his agent, you can blame UNLV. For me, the don't do this is now a system that has no rules, or at least enforceable rules. Apparently this is not uncommon where assistants will promise something and then they'll work hard to try to make it happen, but they can't guarantee. Oh, we haven't been able to raise that $100,000 that we said. Yeah, no, we can get you $100,000. Yeah, come to UNLV. We'll get you $100,000.
Get you a little bit of money.
And then all of a sudden they look and, hey, NIL, we need $100,000. Well, we don't have $100,000.
We don't have $100,000.
So, but then that's not really fair to the kids who've been promised that money, verbally or otherwise. You can't really, it's not like a contractual thing. It's just the Wild West, and it makes no sense. It's kind of ruining the sport.
His dad, Bob.
Is it really ruining the sport?
A little bit.
Has your college football really been that impacted?
Mine, I don't know that mine has, but I would think that part of the fun of college football is hey, you get excited about your team, and hey, I'm excited about this quarterback, and all of a sudden he just quits 3 games into the season.
Hold your team accountable.
It's impacting.
Be mad at your team for not paying the kid.
If they said they were going to pay him,
it's not the team; it's the fans who are supposed to pay. I mean, it's NIL. It's the school is not the ones that are paying. It's the boosters and the fans.
Okay, well,
who
the schools
are
are the
required.
ones facilitating a
The
lot.
pay-
So be mad at yourself if you're UNLV fans, I guess.
The quarterback's father, Bob Sluka, told ESPN. Head coach Barry Odom later said, "Offer wasn't valid. It didn't come from me. It came from offensive coordinator Brennan Marion."
That's bait and switch.
Don't trust him. A guy named Brennan also. I think we've learned that. I do think all I thought about when I heard this was, is he a decent quarterback? You can get him for $100,000. I bet Sean Lewis maybe get on the horn and try to dig $100,000 out of the coffers.
It's too late for this season.
Yeah, he's got a
This
red
will be
shirt
for next year. He's got a red shirt this year.
I mean, look. There's only, like they say in Glengarry Glen Ross, only one thing counts in this life. Get them to sign on the line which is dotted. If you go, hey, who knows better than us? The verbal agreement bit. Yeah. No, 3 hours. You guys are good. Trust me. Mm-mm.
But that's the
Wasn't in
thing.
writing.
That's not how the system really works. You get them to commit, then you start working on the NIL deals for them. Then you're not supposed to be able to say,
"We'll give you
$100,000, $1 million, we'll give you $500,000."
Right.
You're supposed to say, "You come to
We'll work something out.
You come, and then our NIL collective will work to get you some good NIL deals." But you're not supposed to be able to promise specific numbers for the players. That wasn't the idea. We'll help you capitalize on your name, image, and likeness to get you some endorsement deals, which they should be able to do. We all agree that college athletes should be able to do endorsement deals, go to a car dealership. But what it's turned into is, hey, we just need to raise $5 million and then start spreading it out among our players, just willy-nilly, just to make sure they come to the school. That's not how it was ever supposed to work, but now that is how it's essentially working.
That's exactly how it works now, and it's tough. But so all right. Well, they're down a quarterback, and one of their running backs actually did the same thing. Kid from USC did it yesterday as well. So this could be the residual effects from that. We need to hurry here. But the old unwritten rules in baseball reared their ugly head again last night in Cleveland as they were throwing a perfect game. Now, I believe it was a combined perfect game at this point. In the 6th inning, it was 2-0 Cleveland over Cincinnati. And TJ Friedel came up in the 6th. Nobody on, nobody on 7, top of the 7th. So 6 complete. Nobody on, nobody out. Drops down a bunt, beats it out. Perfect game over. I have zero problem with this. 2-0. Yep. Still trying to win a ball game. I know you're out of it, but you're still trying to win a ball game. And it was a 2-0 game. And it was in the 7th inning.
Guy was shoving. You got to get on base anyway.
You got to get on base any way you can. Mudd always says bloop and a blast. Next thing you know, you need a blast. But the Guardians actually tweeted from their account, breaking up a perfect game through 6 on a bunt. Kentucky Reds behavior. Which is, I don't really know what it means, but it made me snicker.
They're just disowning them from Ohio.
Okay, got it.
Basically, because they're on the border of Kentucky. It's like, you can see Kentucky from the Great American Ballpark.
That's true.
Technically, it's in Ohio.
Yeah, Kentucky behavior.
I agree with you. if you can get on base any way you can, get on base any way you can.
Now, if it's 9-0 or something, all right, man, maybe swing away. But even still, then, like, you're still trying to win a ball game, still trying to get on base.
I mean, there's a little bit more of a gray area here because the game is completely meaningless for the Cincinnati Reds. They've already fired their manager.
Yeah, they fired their manager, but they're playing hard for the next guy. 2-0, trying to win a ball game there. I don't know.
Integrity of the game.
I have no problem with it.
I mean, would have to work both ways as well. I mean,
I saw somebody made a good point. If a guy is a triple short of the cycle, is he supposed to not spin it and just go, all right, man, here come those heaters. Get ready.
Yeah, your season's over.
See if you can get it in the gap. He's still got to try to pitch.
If he gets one to the gap, the outfielders just slowly lope after
it. Yeah.
So make sure he gets the triple.
I mean, no, dude. No, you try to get the guys out. That's the game. So funny tweet.
All right, final little do this. Sad do this.
DD mega do.
It's not all. Not even a little.
I didn't say fun.
I thought you said a funny.
Finally, a little
I thought you said a funny little do this.
Finally.
This is the least funny.
No.
Stop laughing at it. It's not funny at all.
Very nice, unfortunate tribute to Johnny Gaudreau. Columbus Blue Jackets had their first game of the season at home.
Oh, it must have been.
And, that obviously the crowd, very emotional as they honored Johnny Gaudreau and his brother, of course, were killed by a drunk driver on August 29th. And just one of the saddest sports stories we've seen in such a long time. And they did the moment of silence and 13 seconds for number 13. And it was very sad and somber. But the Blue Jackets did go out and win their game against the St. Louis Blues, which was nice in front of that crowd for Johnny and his brother. And that is Don't and Do This for Thursday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, yeah, Woods, I don't know if you heard him because I hadn't turned my microphone. He said, let's talk a Rise here.
Let's talk some
I
Luisa
don't mind
Rise
talking
here.
a little Luisa Rise here.
I never
because
do. He's the flavor. Let's put it this way. He's the flavor of the week.
There's something certainly off about Luis Rise the last few days.
And by the flavor of the week, I mean, all right, I've shifted from Manny Machado. Now I'm going to go rip Luis Rise is what I'm seeing a lot of on social media.
Not the only Padre who's started struggling at the plate lately, though. We can talk about a couple other guys as well. We'll get to that next with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Have to say, quick sorry out there to Cisco. Cisco, it works sometimes with Shelly at the Regal Seagull. I was there yesterday afternoon, just for a little bit, and he said, I listen to the show all the time. He's a Dodgers fan. But he listens to the show all the time with his brother, who's a Padres fan. They were listening yesterday, and he goes, I love the show, even though I'm a Dodgers fan. But you guys stopped down. You didn't do any of your games. You just didn't do Don't Do This. You went right through this entire hour. It was all Padres clinch, and I'm dying. I'm like, oh, I just have to keep listening to this because that's all they're talking about yesterday.
Well, I mean, it's a big one. You know, you clinch, and not a lot of people, Cisco, thought this team would be there at the end. Honestly, a lot. I mean, they've cut, Brian Kenny on MLB Network wanted them to do a complete teardown and rebuild, and we're talking 3 months ago, 90 days ago, man. That guy was ready for, now he hates the Padres. He did a video
through
like gritted
He didn't
teeth.
never say I was wrong, but it's basically his I was wrong video.
Yeah, I mean, you had people calling for a complete teardown, and why in the world are you trading Drew Thorpe, and why are you getting rid of Jairo Iriarte? And oh my God, did you guys really trade Dylan Head? Holy cow, what is A.J. Preller doing? And what he was doing was reloading and building up a team that went on an incredible run in the second half, 50 and 50 on my actual birthday, July 19th. 50 and 50. I was in Two Bunch Palm Resort getting massages, having a great time, making love to my wife. Watched the game against the Guardians. We lost. I was like, oh, great. Second half off to a rollicking start.
7-0, I think.
7-0. I'll never forget it.
It's the worst game of the second half.
And then the next thing you
game.
know, 3 months goes by, and you're like, how many wins do we have? We're over 90 wins. This is crazy. So, yeah, man, like, it's a big deal when we clinch. And so, yeah, yesterday was a bit of a special show.
Now,
Sorry, Cisco.
clinching, getting to the playoffs is half the battle, maybe more. But part of the battle is also you want to be playing well as you get to the postseason.
Yeah,
and the Padres have been playing well for so long, but there are some concerning signs, at least offensively, that we want to talk about. And get to that right after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by SDG&E. Got a few problems here, guys. One of them is an accident involving a motorcycle northbound 5 at H Street that is in the center divide. Further up, near the SeaWorld Drive off-ramp, we are getting reports of a possible brush fire. There's some smoke visible from the right shoulder. Also, northbound side of the 805, right before Home Avenue, there's a collision involving a couple vehicles. It's over the right shoulder. Then up ahead, another motorcycle accident at Balboa. This one is blocking the slow lane. Still the stalled car on the coastline southbound 5 before Poinsettia. That's got the slow lane blocked. In peak wildfire season, as a last resort, SDG&E may need to shut off power in specific areas for public safety. Learn more about public safety power shutoffs at sdge.com/PSPS. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
If there was one reason that I did and still do want the Padres to win the division and get a bye in the first round, it would be for the extra rest that it could provide specifically for Luis Ryle, who has been, I would say, the most banged-up regular starter the Padres have had here in the second half of the season. Been dealing with that thumb for months now. They said there's a tear or something in there. He can play through it, but it clearly is not really getting any better. He had that last swing last night when he, popped out, up the middle of the diamond. Really, you could see how much it hurt him. Also has that knee bruise, contusion, whatever, that he kind of twisted when he landed awkwardly on home plate. That was a couple of weeks ago. So of all the Padres players who have been dealing with stuff, he's probably the guy who could most use some extra time off, and it's reflected, I think, in his production. Luis Ryle was now 2 for his last 24 after another 0 for 4 last night.
That's a toughie, man. That's a toughie. Obviously, big hit. Big hit last week. I mean, look, Mookie Betts is in a little bit of a slump. It happens. It happens to the greatest of all time. Shohei was having a really hard time with runners in scoring position at the All-Star break. He's clearly not anymore. You're talking about some of the best players of the game. They're going to go through waves. It's tough, man, when you're at the top of the order. There was one AB the other night that killed me, I think, and it was It was Luis Arraez, and he's an aggressive hitter, right? He's not a guy that walks a ton. Fernando Tatis Jr. also drew a walk last night, his first one in 100-plus plate appearances. Like, those guys go up there looking to do damage. And for Arraez, his damage is a single to start off an inning or potentially a double sometimes.
No, he got robbed twice. Once by Muncy to start the game, and once by, I don't know if Edman was there or if it was still Rojas. I think it was Edman. Because he had to come in to shortstop in the middle of the game.
Great play.
2 great plays to rob him.
Of course. There was one AB, though, the other night. We had worked a 3-2 count, and he swung at a pitch at his eyes and ended up fouling out, I think, to the first baseman when, you get on, set it up for Tatis next. He's an aggressive hitter.
But,
I don't want to change a thing about him.
When he's not getting hits and he's not walking, you're getting nothing out of your leadoff spot.
Correct.
No on base, no chances to score.
Which is tough.
It makes it much harder for the Padres to score runs. And quietly, they haven't been scoring as many runs lately. Let's see, over the last 6 games, they have 4 times they've hit 6 hits or less in the game. 255 average, 309 on-base percentage over actually the last 12 games, and 6 hits or fewer in 5. In just 5 of their previous 34, they were doing great, but now it's kind of started to struggle a little bit. By the way, Rise has put that 3rd straight batting title into question as well with this slump. He's down to 314. Marcell Ozuna's up to 310. Hot on his heels. So there is a little subplot of a National League batting title on the line this weekend, and Arias needs a few more hits to sew that thing up. with Ozuna kind of right behind him. So he's not the only Padre who has started scuffling offensively. About half the lineup quietly is not really productive right now. Donovan Solano getting more regular playing time with Ha-Seong Kim out. And with Xander Bogaerts moving to short, he's 4 for his last 30, Woods.
Not the ABs really were accustomed to from Solano. Now, listen, I'm not talking about Michael Kopech last night. Like, I was pretty stoked when Lockridge stole second and made it, with ease. And Donovan Solano's up there. I feel pretty confident. But I'm not talking about 101, right in on your hands. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about some of the other kind of wilder swings that we've seen from him when we didn't see that recently, when he was a part-time player and coming off the bench, and you've needed him a little bit more. So yeah, man, I think they're going to be fine. I still like that lineup very much. I still like that lineup, and you do have faith in Victor Rodriguez. He's proven that he can get his guys going, and yeah, I'm not overly concerned about it at all. But yeah, you want to see them. You want to see everyone hitting the ball because, man, I'll tell you, like as good as our pitching is, as good as our defense is, and as good as our bullpen is. You got to hit to win, too, in October. You just have
Pitching's only going to get better.
Yeah.
And Padres
better.
aren't getting much from the offense, from the catching position. Kyle Higashioka and Elias Diaz, 7 for the last 49. That's a 143 average since September 4th. And yes, as hot as he has been in the second half of the season, even Manny has cooled off considerably.
Oh,
he's now 2 for his last 17 over the past 5 games, and he struck out at least once in 10 straight games, longest streak of his career.
He missed a hanger from Flaherty yesterday that I was like, that's a pitch. Maybe that was the Budweiser, Ben, that got him last night because there was a hanger that Flaherty threw, and when it left his hand, I go, you're done. You're dead. That ball's going 400 feet, and he missed it, swung right through it, and I was like, oh, okay. All right. So, listen, I think like we know, it ebbs and it flows. It certainly does. It's a little bit ebbing right now. Would like to get it flowing again. Hey, no better guy to do it against than the guy you're going to be facing tonight, Walker Buehler. You never really thought you'd say those words, but Walker Buehler's having a terrible season. Looks like a shell of himself right now. So go out and just take it to that guy, specifically win the series. And he's good hitting. He's good hitting for a lot of these guys. He's pitched a little bit better as of late, but this is a guy that you should feel pretty comfortable hitting against.
Yeah, I will say a lot can change in the next 4 days. Hey, things can turn on a dime in one day. Playoffs start, and a guy who was ice cold all of a sudden is red hot. Anyone remember Trent Grisham 2 years ago?
My Lord, right?
Anyone see that coming?
Well,
so you can't necessarily project.
The funny thing is that, first series, brilliant, right? And didn't he got one?
And then started and then completely fell off the map.
Completely fell off the map.
Water finds its level eventually, but in the playoffs, it's so short, you can have an impact even if you haven't had much of an impact during the regular season.
It's so good to see Tatis demolishing baseballs. 400.
That was the longest home run of the season for the Padres. I didn't realize that.
448, and it was 114 miles an hour off the bat.
That would have left the stadium again if he got a little bit more under it. It was on too much of a line. He hit that so hard.
Jackson Merrill continues to just give you great at-bats almost every time he steps to the plate. Hunter, great point here. Guys are scuffling, yet we're 10-2 in our last 12. Hell yeah, dude. Again, we talked yesterday about guys picking their brothers up. We lost that game by 1 run, and we had plenty of opportunities to win it. That's all we've ever asked for. That's all they've promised us, is that we want to be in a position to win baseball games late. They damn near always are. So they were in one last night, tying runs on second base, didn't come through. We tip our hat, we move on, you go out and you try to just crush Walker Buehler today.
Both games this week against this team. The World Series favorites, by the way.
Yeah.
With the world's greatest roster and the best player to ever play the game.
Yeah.
Both games, coin flip.
100%.
Coin flip. You had a triple play.
Yeah, a true heavyweight battle, man, is what Now, I'll admit,
baseball.
They're a heavyweight. The Dodgers are a heavyweight. They will call us a bantamweight, even though we fight them hard and have taken it to them this year. They will not give us the respect of calling us heavyweights. We're featherweights or bantam. I don't know what bantamweight is.
I was wondering. I was going to ask you.
I have no idea, but I just always thought it was cool.
What class?
What class are you in? I'm a
bantamweight.
Bantam. What does that mean? What is the bantam?
Like feather and light and heavy and
There's heavyweight.
They all make sense.
Give it to me.
Heavyweight. And then this is from the top down.
All right, what do we fight? We're all heavyweights, right? Oh, God.
We are all
unfortunately.
Cruiserweight is 200 pounds.
Cruiser's cool.
Light heavyweight, 175. Super middleweight, I mean, there's a lot. Middleweight is 160, welterweight 147, lightweight 135.
This is
featherweight 126.
Where's bantam?
Bantamweight is 118. It goes all the way down to
really small people
minimum
who are
weight.
fighting here.
Minimum weight is 105 pounds.
Straw weight. That was straw weight, 105.
I want bantam. What do I need to do to get down to a bantam weight? 118 seems doable. That's 6'1". Seems doable. 118. What are you fighting at? 118.
And which one of your man boobs?
I'd be a rail, dude. I would be a rail. Just, hey,
6'1", 118.
6'1", 118.
Now, what I don't understand is, you go between heavyweight and middleweight and lightweight and featherweight. They all kind of make sense, but then you throw in the cruiserweight and the bantamweight. What are those things?
What's heavyweight? Just us.
Heavyweight is 200.
200. That you have to fight at 200.
Anything above 200 is heavyweight. You can be as heavy as you want after that.
Like Butterbean.
Yes.
Like UFC, they have heavyweight is listed from 206 to 265. Anywhere.
I'm doing boxing, but each sport has its own specific classifications.
All right. Well, I've always wanted to know that, and you learn a lot on this program.
I didn't know some of that.
I didn't either, and I'm a sports guy.
Yeah, you're a sports guy.
I wasn't totally sure about any of those weight classifications, other than the fact that I can't believe that there's this many people around who like to fight who are under like 130 pounds.
I know.
It's a lot of classes for people who are very, very, very light in their weight.
Yeah.
Getting into the ring.
So I'm not, again, to tie it all up, I'm not overly concerned. See how tonight goes. Do you rest Luis Ariz? Maybe you do give him a rest. The guy's banging his hand after every single pitch. Listen, the funny thing is I think they said it on the broadcast too, it doesn't hurt when you square it up. It doesn't. You don't feel a thing when you square it up, but it's the ones off the end of the bat. It's the one in on the hands that he looks like he's in such pain. I do give him all the credit in the world for going out there. I do get the sense he's out there to help the San Diego Padres win and not just getting a batting title, Ben. I really believe that. What he provides to the team, Manny Machado's given him the credit of turning this team around when he arrived. Like, he is a valuable piece. He's got to hit, man, in the leadoff spot. You got to find a way to get on base for the big boys.
And if you win this game, there really are no questions about your pedigree going into the postseason.
Correct.
You've taken on everyone in the second half. There really aren't any
anyway. Their pedigree is real. It's a real pedigree. But, guys need to start trying to square up the ball. But again, the Dodgers employed their very best last night. You saw the best that they have, maybe outside of Gratterall last night. And, I think you saw the best that they have, and you took their punches and you lost by 1 run. So
kind of feels like Dave Roberts was managing that like a playoff game. I think Mike Schilt might have done a few things differently in a playoff game.
Yeah. I think so too, Paulie. 100%.
All of our baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile. You can get tons of benefits, still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. Eno and more coming up in the second half of Ben and Woods.
New brilliant Netflix show. Got to tell you about it next. Well, we are halfway home on a Thursday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Make sure you stick around here on 97.3 The Fan all day. We've got the Round Table, brought to you by Round Table Pizza. It's pizza royalty, and that's going to come up in 2 hours from right now. And we'll be joined by a very special guest on the Round Table. He's our executive producer, Paul Ryle, is going to be joining us for his very first Round Table day. How do you feel?
I feel great.
Do you feel good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I only wait for the big round tables, like playoff type.
Smart. It's a smart move.
Yeah.
I just
and we have nobody here.
I keep freaking Adam out, and Ben Higgins is here too.
Hi.
So. I didn't want to treat you like an afterthought because you're the host of the Round Table.
Very afterthought.
I didn't mean to.
You.
I was just wanted to tell the story that I keep spinning Adam out because, well, listen, today's the last Thursday of the regular season, is it not?
It is.
I committed to doing roundtables for Adam and 97.3 The Fan for the regular season. So that would mean that this is my last roundtable. So I keep telling him every time I see him, hey, last one. Let's get it big. Let's finish strong. And what about during the playoffs? I go, listen, the playoffs are a different animal. You know, our intensity's turned up a little bit. We'll probably be out and about, oot and a boot, San Diego, shaking hands, kissing babies, doing all the things we love to do. So I'm just telling you, this is my last roundtable. Enjoy it. Drink it in. Come in there and you can watch if you want. Watch the magic happen.
Do you have the huevos to protest and just not show up next week if there is a roundtable?
Happens all the time on the roundtable.
Everybody else is there, and you said, nope, I'm sticking to my guns.
I told you.
I only said regular season.
I said regular season. You know what, Paulie? As a team player, I'll do it.
He'll be there. Because you look at my sad face going, really? You're going to leave? You're going to leave Ben out? Just to ask questions of no one? Just empty chairs for an hour?
You only play sad when you need something, okay? That's one thing I've learned about you.
I'm not that sad of a person.
You're
so
really not.
I have to muster it when I need something.
When he does it to me, I'm like, all right, I can't leave Ben in the lurch. You know me, I'm a big fan of not leaving guys in the lurch. If you're in the lurch, whatever the lurch is, I want to get you out of it. Is kind of my thing.
He'll send you a ladder to climb out of the lurch.
I'll be honest.
Toss me a rope.
I have too many people in my life that are in the lurch. I'm constantly pulling people out of lurches.
I'm really not one of them.
And I don't know what a lurch is. I don't even know what it is, but I'm constantly pulling people out of it. So anyway, I was talking to Paulie about this the other day, and I know that you haven't watched it yet. There is a new series on Netflix that popped up last weekend, and it's a series that they're doing called Monsters.
Yeah.
Now they did it with Jeffrey Dahmer, and I didn't watch that one because that story.
I did watch that one. It was
that story really freaked me out.
They're all the same guy, Ryan Murphy. Who's
I don't know who this guy is or where he came from, but he did OJ. He did all this stuff. He's got the Aaron Hernandez one that's on Hulu right now. That's so brilliant.
I'd like to eavesdrop on his therapy sessions.
He's really obsessed with it. He does a really good job at setting up these stories that we all remember. Now, this one's about is it Menendez? Or is it Melendez?
Menendez.
The Menendez brothers.
Not the Mendez brothers.
The Menendez brothers.
Giant story. When we were kids,
yeah.
Like the tabloid, they went crazy with the story of the two brothers who killed their parents.
Yeah. Very rich, upper crust family.
Beverly Hills.
Beverly
the dad
Hills.
was a record
Pretty
CEO.
good-looking guys,
Yeah, very sharp guys. Yeah. And I started watching it, and it's really well done. I mean, it is really, really, really well done. Edge of your seat type stuff. But then I remembered, I'm like, well, this was around the time. I said, Ben has a lot of connections in LA. I wondered, did you know the Menendez brothers?
No, I told you. I did know Scott Peterson.
You golfed with Scott Peterson.
It's your buddy.
Now, these guys are big tennis guys. Did you play tennis with them?
I took tennis lessons for a while. I don't think I ever crossed paths with Lyle and or Eric.
Well, our photos say different. If you are in the member stream right now, I am looking at a legitimate.
The Menendez brothers.
The Menendez brothers.
I could fit in at least visually with that.
All right.
So
do you want to hear something scary? I watched this and I go, they remind me of Ben. their upper crust lifestyle and how, they just reminded me of you. I don't think you would do that. You love your parents. Your parents are great.
They are.
Could see Bo and Taylor doing this one day potentially. That's definitely another thing I thought about. Better be very nice to them. But yeah, I mean, there's actual. Do you have any pictures of you and murderer Scott Peterson playing golf together?
I do not.
It took you 5 years to tell us that story.
Yeah.
That I very casually knew him growing up. Yes, I did. He's a little older than me. The Menendez brothers, I think, are about 10 years older than me as well. So I'd be the I'd be the very young Menendez brother.
Where was this picture taken? What country club, beach and tennis club was this taken at? Paulie, that's such a...
Looks like it's the jail yard, actually.
We gotta put it on. We gotta put it on Twitter, Paulie. It is unbelievable. That is incredible. Incredible.
Now in our chat, they say they're at our local state,
they're
Donovan
here.
State
Been there for a little
Penitentiary.
while now,
They could be tier ones, as far as we know.
Can you listen to? Do you get the Odyssey app? How does that work? You just get a transistor radio. You could listen.
Yeah, you could listen. Maybe they're Padres fans. Probably
is that
Dodger
contraband,
fans.
or is that allowed?
Well, I was just at Alcatraz, and they
You were.
installed radios for the guys in like the '60s. They had like 3 channels they could turn and listen to, and keeps listen. At the end of the day, you want to keep them as calm as possible. You don't want to just take everything from them and treat them like actual animals. But yeah, they are local here to San Diego.
Can you imagine being in Alcatraz in the '60s and you can listen to the Giants game on the radio?
I know.
Like it's right across the
Across
bay
the way.
there. It's at Candlestick Park, but a world apart.
Well, they said the worst night in Alcatraz every year was New Year's Eve because they would be sitting in Alcatraz and San Francisco would pop off for New Year's Eve, and it would be eerily quiet because everyone wanted to hear what was going on across the water, and they'd hear women laughing and people yelling and having a great time.
Sound travels over water.
And
that
they
way.
said it just would drive them crazy.
It's freezing.
But they
too.
would all sit there and listen all night to the sounds of New Year's Eve going off around you while you're sitting in a tiny little cell. But yeah, so I was curious if you knew those guys at all, or
have you visited them?
Golfed or
No,
visited them?
I have not visited. Have you ever visited anyone in a prison before?
No.
No visiting hours, visiting day.
No.
No conjugal visits.
No, I've never done a conjugal visit with someone. Would you? I don't know that I could perform. If they were like, you got 10 minutes and it's in that cot in that little trailer, get after it. I don't know that I could perform. I'll be completely honest.
Hannah gets sent.
Hannah got sent away.
And you only get to visit her, once every 6 months, where they give you a conjugal visit. And you got your 10, 15 minutes in the trailer. You don't think you could?
I haven't had a conjugal visit at home in a while, so I think that you show up, you're so excited. She's like, I really don't feel like it. I'm in jail. I'm in this jumpsuit. I'm dirty. I don't feel right. You're like, are you kidding me? I just came all the way here. They had to crawl inside my body to make sure I could come in here. I would like to hear from somebody that's ever done a conjugal visit. 833-288-0973. You'd make my entire day.
It would be fascinating.
Do they still do
the
it?
Word conjugal.
Oh, it's great. It's great. Yeah, I would like to get a conjugal visit just at my house. Would be good at some point. We don't even have to go anywhere. Just one at home would be good. As she is on a plane for Hawaii today, so be conjugal visiting with myself.
Prison guards standing right outside the door.
Yeah, I'll be conjugal visiting with myself as I usually do. So, so you don't know them.
I do not know the Menendez
show,
brothers.
It's a wild show.
3 episodes in. I think there's 9 or 10 episodes, and they didn't waste any time. I mean,
no, it's right out
within
the front.
5 minutes, they're at the murder scene already. You're like, oh, okay.
No. They're not just at the murder scene. You're watching the very graphic murder of their parents,
yes.
And it is just.
How'd they do it?
Shotguns.
Shotguns. Bought at Big 5 in San Diego, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Well done, guys, there on that one.
Big 5.
Yeah.
Simply
the
best.
Simply the worst, I guess. But, yeah, it's really, really well done. So check it out on Netflix if you want. And, of course, the Hulu one is really good about Aaron Hernandez
James
as well.
made me laugh. Supermax Hotel Hannah.
Supermax Hotel Hannah. Supermax Hotel Hannah. Oh, man. Hope Airbnb Hannah doesn't show up this week while she's gone. So, also another fave of mine. So,
And Bill says, wasn't Scott Peterson arrested here in San Diego? Yes, at Torrey Pines Golf Course.
Really?
He said he was on his way to Torrey Pines Golf Course, but the passport, the fake wig,
The fake blonde wig or
the
something.
blonde wig, the cash, and everything made it. I think seemed more like he was running to Mexico to get away from the authorities.
How did you guys play that day when you were?
A few times. He was
no,
good.
How did you play that day when he was arrested out at Torrey?
Did it throw off your round to watch your buddy get
Get
dragged
arrested?
off?
No,
and
he said,
handcuffed?
Where are you heading?
Well, I had the
prison?
cash. I had my passport to show that I was a city resident to get the
get the
discount
discount.
rate and the cash to pay for the golf.
That's right.
And I don't know about the wig, but that's
JH619 says they get iPads now in prison. Maybe they do. Maybe the Menendez brothers do listen. I
They're watching on YouTube.
I don't really know how I feel.
They're
about
like
it.
your kids, but they only get 30 minutes.
Yeah,
a day
30 minutes of
on their-
screen
on
time a
their-
day
on their iPad.
I don't know how I would feel if hey, it's Lyle Menendez. I'm a huge fan. I love Take on Woods. I play every day from my jail cell. I really don't know how I would feel. They're gold members, yeah. They're in the member stream every month. Just so weird. It's a really good series. Ryan Murphy's really good at that stuff. It's like soap operas for adults like me.
I don't know his IMDb history, but I know he also did Glee, which does not fit.
Does not fit
with any of the stuff that he's come out with over the last 5 years.
It's dark, dude. It's dark stuff. But check it out. It's really, really good.
Yeah, my passions are, deranged killers and choir.
Choir and yeah, it's really good. You guys will like it. Paul, you started it. Check it out for yourself. There's a little recommendation. There's Ben and the Menendez brothers hanging out back in the 90s.
All right, I don't know. If we
That
get a
is
call
gold.
about a conjugal visit, that may take precedent.
Somebody
coming
got
up.
a call?
No, we don't. I said if we
Oh.
do, that may take precedent. Otherwise, we'll get back to the Padres. We got Eno Sarris coming up as well with some smart baseball talk. So stay tuned for whatever may be coming up next with Ben and Woods after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
All right, here we go. Black 17 on. That is my dope. All right, hit me.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
One thing about you, Woods, and I should know better than anyone, that just like encourages people to probably share more than they normally would. I certainly have over the last few years. It's probably because you're very open and sharing and about the good and the bad in your life.
Reciprocation, yeah.
So when when we had the story about the Menendezes and then we started talking about conjugal visits, you asked anyone out there has ever actually done a conjugal visit at prison?
I'm so curious about it because you see it in the movies, you think it's just something in the movies, but apparently it is a real thing, and we have a phone call, and we will not say your name.
Tier 1 Jane Doe.
Tier 1 Jane Doe, we will call you. Thank you so much for calling in, and you called Paulie and said, well, I'm laughing because I have had a conjugal visit. Were you the prisoner or the visitor?
The visitor.
Okay. And I need to know everything. I mean, I need to know morning, day,
tastefully, at least.
Tastefully, but I need to know every detail that you can provide.
Okay, so this was in a previous life. Let me just tell you that. It was like 2001, so I'm not sure if they still go the same way now. But it was a whole weekend, and they have apartments on prison grounds that you stay at for the whole weekend.
Okay.
It's like a full apartment with kitchen and everything. So you order food before the visit, like a week or two before the visit.
Okay.
They have it all delivered. You show up on the day of the visit, and then you spend the entire weekend there.
So you got to, it's more than just
It's not just a 15-minute.
15-minute get in, get out.
Yeah.
Like
It's a full weekend.
How tired were
And
you
it's
after?
miserable. I don't even want to get it.
You're like, I'm begging. I've got to go.
What was
gotta go?
If I may ask, Jane Doe, what was your relationship previously like with this person? You said it was another life. Were you long-term relationship? Were you married? What was the relationship?
Yeah. You have to be married.
Okay.
Oh.
So we were married, and I had my son was like 4 months old, so I had to bring all his stuff too. So it's with the baby too.
Okay, so he gets to see his kid, and what? Do you mind me asking? It can't be that serious of a crime, I would imagine, if they're allowing this low security type situation.
No, you're locked in like prisoner too.
Well, for him,
that weekend you can't go outside.
I mean, do you have to earn it like with good behavior or like, just kind of like, does everyone get this or did they get this?
Back then, yes. I don't think it's that way now. I think they did change it now to like any violent offenders, but back then it was anyone that was married and put in for it.
Wow. Put in for the, okay,
Yeah.
ballpark it for me. You're there, what, Friday to Sunday?
Yes.
What are we talking here? Ballpark.
Friday to Sunday. Well, the worst part was it was that time of the month.
Oh, no!
No.
This guy's like,
No way.
probably too much info, to be honest with you. Probably too much info.
It was miserable.
That's miserable.
Jane Doe.
By the way, they kept you freezing in there too.
Just frozen solid. Oh, my
Oh,
Lord.
my
Thank you
gosh,
so
it was
much for
short.
calling and bearing that on the radio. You're amazing, Jane Doe.
That's brave. That's brave.
Very
you.
brave. Holy cow. Holy cow.
We had another call as well from one of our female listeners, and she kind of said the same thing. She said, it wasn't me. I was dropping off my sister for
To go do
her conjugal. And she's like, yeah, there's like a part of the prison facilities that like all these trailers, and that's your little home for the weekend. Huh.
The weekend. And then, the guy, if it's me, it's probably like, you don't have to stay all the way till Sunday. You can just stay. If you just want to split early, it's good.
Oh, you're getting some home cooked meals, she said. They have the
You order
groceries.
your food.
Order.
Yeah, your 4-month-old's there though too, which is it's not ideal. It didn't sound terrible though. I'll tell you that. You pre-order food. You're not in your cell anymore, and you're in an apartment, and you start to feel like you're a normal human again. I guess it's probably good motivation to like get your ass together, man. Like you got this family here, and you got this woman here that's willing to do that for you, and you come on, clean up your life, man. And there's a better life for you. I'm a huge believer in and fan of rehabilitation. I think people deserve many chances, and everyone's human. Everyone makes mistakes. I don't know what this guy did, but yeah, they get their own TV, a kitchen in there. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, and you get to spend some quality time.
My curiosity of topics is pretty insatiable. So
Mine too.
That was fascinating.
I was absolutely riveted by that. I thought that was so brave of her to call too.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. If you ever see us, you can just come up and whisper, "Hey, I was the conjugal visit gal. I'd like to give you a big hug." And that's it. No, just a big hug. And
It's funny.
It was rad.
6.5 years as a show. There's only been a handful of times where we've had something super just off the rails, random, and we're like, if anybody out there, please give us a call.
Yeah.
And it actually works out.
Nude cruise guy was
Yes.
amazing. When
Yes.
we didn't know that was a real thing, and the guy said, "No, my band played on a nude cruise." Man, it's so good. So good. Thank you for that call, Jane Doe. That was really, really sweet.
Actually, I had a funny story yesterday. Shelley said she got in a Lyft, and the driver, Luis, who listens every single day, he said, "Oh, I love that show. I called in a few months ago. Remember Luis, who called in about Matt LaChapa, who had the Padres minor leaguer with the heart attack? He said, that was me. I called in the show. You're Ben's wife, Shelley." And he was like, "Yeah, absolutely. I'm in the car." And Yeah, he listens every day. So shout out, Luis.
Shout
Thank
out,
you
Luis.
for Tier 1 for being a listener every single day. Appreciate it.
Got a lot of Tier 1s that drive around all day, man. All day long. I don't know how you guys do it. My hat's off to you. Stay out of trouble so you don't end up in prison needing conjugal visits. But just the fact, you know what, I will say this. As somebody that was justice system adjacent for many, many years, gives me a little bit of peace to know that is possible. If something happened, to know that that's possible.
There's no chance Hannah's coming to visit you.
You are right. It would have to be another woman. It would not be Hannah. There's no. If I go to prison, she's like, you stay
Zero
in
chance.
prison. There's no chance. But
Maybe she drops the kids off for the weekend and then she leaves. Like, here, you got the kids for the weekend.
For the weekend. I get the house, the food. I'll be there. She drops them off and leaves. And it's me and the kids in that
weekend.
In your trailer.
Bring me back to my cell. I'm ready. It's over. Taylor and Bo just coloring on the walls. Oh my God! You
can't go anywhere.
You
can't
gave me a heart
leave
attack
with your kids. You can't go to the park. You can't do anything.
You're in the
trapped in a trailer with your kids.
All right, here's the deal. If you ever go to prison, I'm bringing you my kids. Last night we were at dinner, and
you've got them by yourself this weekend, but at least you can take them.
Take them, do anything I want.
Do anything you want.
We have the freedom to roam.
Can you imagine if you had like a 10-foot by 15-foot, and that's
apartment?
It's you and the kids. And you
Dad, I'm hungry. You're just like, oh God, I miss jail. I miss jail so much. I miss my cellies. I miss playing dominoes. This sucks. These guys are wearing me out. We were at dinner. We were having dinner last night, and I said to Hannah, I go, "Oh, did you guys see The Open this morning? Because they put it on the big screen." She goes, "Well, we put it on." And Taylor walked right in and turned it to Spider-Man. I go, "Taylor, you didn't watch Daddy's show?" He goes, "No." I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because it's not good." And I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Does Ben and Woods like me?" And I said, "Oh, Ben." I go, "No, he doesn't like you." And he goes, he stopped down and he goes, I shot a little video. I have it, actually. He's like, "Ben, you have to like me, dude. It's really, really sweet." It was really sweet. So, but no, he's not a tier 1 at all. But I love
he was.
And then Ben said, "I don't like you."
Turned him away.
I am willing to water under the bridge. Let bygones be bygones.
Squash your beef
Why
with
don't you guys,
3-year-old Taylor.
Why don't you spend some time together this weekend? How about that?
If he will shake my hand, I will shake his.
Hold on. What did you ask me?
Hey, Dad, you have to like him, dude.
Because you're the best.
I'm the best.
Because you're the best.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Isn't that sweet?
That is sweet. I don't have to do anything, though.
Do you hate him a little bit less now?
Will you watch him Friday after we get out of here? Just for a while? Just go hang, take him to the park?
You trust me?
No, never mind. Actually,
On a Friday afternoon?
Yeah. Asleep at the wheel, just exhausted.
Where's Taylor? I fell asleep.
Bro, that would be an elite content bit of making Ben take Taylor to Legoland and having us follow around. It would be incredible. Where Taylor doesn't know we're there. Oh, that's good stuff. We don't have the budget for it, but that was so much fun. I love that. That's a best of break right there, Paulie. Holy cow.
All right, we're going to shift gears when we come back. Final regular season appearance for Eno Sarris from The Athletic. We'll get some smart baseball, get his thoughts on the Padres coming up with the playoffs, this Mets-Braves situation as well. All coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Before we get to Eno Sarris, and before I forget, the umpire scorecard for last night's game came out. Now, these are not completely scientific, and I do not believe that there is necessarily a conspiracy going on. But over the last two games now, the Dodgers have received nearly 2 runs in extra favor from the umpires, including last night in which home plate umpire Andy Fletcher, the crew chief, had just an 80% called strike accuracy. And the 3 most impactful calls of the game went against the Padres, including the biggest one when Tommy Edman had a 1-2 count. Strike is called a ball. So instead of striking out, he ended up walking, and that was the game-winning rally there for the Dodgers when Shohei Ohtani brought in the go-ahead run. So,
well, if there's a team that needs... If there's a team that needs extra, it's the Dodgers. I mean, they're underdogs, man. So when you're a scrappy underdog like them, you need all the help that you can get.
They've only got 3 MVPs
at the top of their
third of their order.
3 MVPs. What are they supposed to do?
You know that umpires, subconsciously at least, favor star players.
Oh, yeah.
And Manny and Tatis sometimes get the benefit of those close calls
I feel
as
like
well
it goes
at home plate.
the other way against
I just wonder
them.
when you're an ump, though, and you get a star pitcher and a star player, like
who wins?
Like who wins that battle in terms of the benefit of the doubt on the close ones on the corner. So that's your latest update. Eno's standing by. We'll get to some smart baseball right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by MTS, reminding you that trolleys run every 15 minutes or better. Still a few problems, guys. One of them is this crash on the Mar Vista off-ramp, eastbound 78. Also traveling on northbound 15 before Carroll Canyon. We have reports of a trash can in the fast lane. Want to also mention this situation along the 76. Around 1:30 this morning, an airplane had to make an emergency landing along the 76 at Canyon Drive. So a little traffic control for you there. Give yourself a little extra time. Looks like this is affecting most of the eastbound lanes of the 76. Again, that is at North Canyon Drive. Don't let traffic drag your day down, whether headed to the office or game day. Go the easy way with MTS. Trolleys run every 15 minutes or better throughout the day. Learn more and plan your trolley trip at sdmts.com. That's sdmts.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's time for the super polished, yet to be named Smart Baseball Weekly segment with Eno Sarris, son of a bitch. Brought to you by 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from the ballpark by the bay in Chula Vista. Here's Eno Sarris with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Been another terrific season with Eno, and we will talk with him through the playoffs, but as the regular season wraps up, certainly owe him a big thank you, and 7 Mile, a big thank you for making this possible every single week. Now, Paulie just told me where Eno is headed to today, so my first question, Eno, is what do you plan on stealing from the Oakland Coliseum today before you leave?
Well, I am going to bring a little baggie and see if I can get a little dirt. But
Are you a dirt guy?
Not normally. I don't have any other dirt.
This is my collection of dirt.
You're not going to be one of the guys who unscrews one of the chairs and starts running off with
that was
them
insane.
Like yesterday, right?
That was in 6 security guards chasing a guy down, running with a seat.
Well, I could put my bag of dirt right next to my MC Hammer bobblehead, I guess.
Oh, is it
Oakland?
They giving that away?
No, they have in the past.
They did because he was a bat boy.
I got a couple bobbleheads. I've got a Mark McGwire one, so a piece of dirt in between is fine for me. I am a slight bit worried that there is upheaval at the end of this game because there's a lot of anger and ill will towards the owner. There'll be a little bit of, sometimes that mass feel where everyone just sort of rushes the field. Some of them will want to be rushing the field to get some dirt or grass, and some of them will be wanting to express their anger. So, I guess the team is giving away, they're doing a reverse giveaway where when you arrive, the first 25,000 who arrive get a voucher for a giveaway, and you only get the giveaway at the end of the 7th inning or 8th inning on your way out.
What is the giveaway, I wonder?
I forget what it is, but it's has something. It's like a pin or something for like the last game of the Coliseum.
The commemorative pin.
They started doing that voucher thing with like bat days when they used to give out wooden bats, but they didn't really want people, swinging bats at each other in the stands the entire game. So it's kind of an on your way out sort of gift.
Their website has 2 promotions listed today: replica Coliseum Stadium giveaway to the first 25,000 fans, and then a final game commemorative ticket.
Okay. So that's not, it's a sad day, certainly. And I know that that's a place that you frequent. And there's about 40 topics I would like to talk about today. Jackson Jobe is one of them. Watched his debut last night for the Tigers, who look unbelievably fun. And they've tapped into something right now and are probably going to make the playoffs, which is just insane to think about. Want to talk about, what's going on with the Padres, Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani, everything. But start there with Oakland and kind of what it meant to you over the years and how weird it's going to be.
Yeah, it's a tough day for me because I do have the benefit of going to 2 stadiums, and so I've been going to Giants games and A's games since I became a writer. But there's something different about going to A's games because the kinds of players that came through, a lot of them, it was kind of their last chance, to make it, and a lot of them had to squeeze every little bit of talent that they had out of themselves. And so a lot of them were player analysts. So you've got like Sam Fold, who's a GM. Jed Lowry was like that. Brent Rooker, even Brandon Moss, even guys like Marcus Simeon. A lot of times they had to be their own coaches, their own analysts. And there's a camaraderie between, so former A's as they kind of go through the different teams because they always get traded quickly, you know. Yeah. So just knowing the A's meant I knew somebody in every clubhouse, and knowing them meant I knew somebody that spoke my language in every clubhouse. So
yeah, good point.
The A's really gave me a level of comfort in every clubhouse, starting from the first day that I ever sat in a press box. So, it's a real sad day for me. And, I also, as a parent, like, this is a little bit more cynical or stupid, but like, when you had 2 teams in town, one of them is a cheaper team. So, there was a fair amount of times that I took my kids to A's games because it was cheaper, and I wasn't sure how many innings I'd get out of them.
It's just smart parenting right there. I mean, I took my kids.
They're not going to know the difference. Baseball's baseball to them at this age.
We just took our kids to Oracle, and it was not cheap. And they made it about 5 innings, man. But it was really fun and beautiful. I do feel bad. I've always had this affinity for the A's, and since I was a kid and fell in love with baseball, I always loved the uniforms. I loved the stories that I'd heard about the old A's teams, and of course all the players that have come through, the great players that have pitched in that organization and played for that organization that went on to help some of the other teams that I loved, down the road, man. And it's very weird, and I hate it, and I don't think it's a good look for baseball, but that's a story for another day. Let's talk some San Diego Padres, LA Dodgers. Been a pretty interesting couple of nights between these 2 teams right now. What's kind of your analysis when you watch?
More than ever, I feel that they're evenly matched. These are tight games. Every time, the Dodgers, threaten to pull ahead, the Padres come right back. So this seems like a team that no longer sort of puts the hands on the hips and goes, oh, not this again. You know what I mean? It's like, just something as simple as Tatis coming back and hitting that homer. It's like, okay, yeah, you guys went ahead. Now we tie it, And they never feel really out of it in those games. And every time that, in the past, there might have been a little, I talk about this with the Mets. The Mets had this LOL Mets thing,
Yeah.
And they had to sort of excise it. They almost had to they had to really manage their vibes this year in New York because they had to kind of get rid of the ghosts in the clubhouse. So, in that way, the Padres are kind of they're no longer the ones where you go, oh, here it goes again. It's more like, no, next inning, who do we got up next inning? You know what I mean?
Yeah, when I grew up on the East Coast for about 6 years and was right in the heart of Yankees Red Sox, was raised a Yankee fan from my dad. And it was such a joke, in the 80s and 90s, like, oh, the Red Sox? No big deal. All of a sudden, They start rising up. They punch the Yankees in the mouth, and then it was just sheer and utter dominance from the Red Sox. The quote-unquote little brother for so many years. Little brother grows up. Little brother grows up and can also learn how to swing it a little bit. And that's kind of the vibe that I've been getting. And you're right, man. You definitely don't see the intimidation that you used to see and feel.
I think Dodgers fans, anyone who says the Giants are still their biggest rival, they're just lying.
Their mind.
They're lying because they don't want to
yourself.
admit to themselves who
Correct.
their biggest rival is.
You are lying
now.
to yourself. No, you're lying to yourself. It's not even close.
Yeah, I mean, there's a long-standing Giants-Dodgers rivalry, but I think every rivalry kind of goes in and out.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yankees-Red Sox is nowhere near what it used to be.
It's only as good as both teams are in the moment, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like if it's Cubs-Cardinals and the Cardinals are awful, like, yeah, maybe there's some yelling at the game, or, maybe they'll call it rivalry week, but like, it only really matters when both teams are good.
It was like that in football, too. Like, sometimes it was Chiefs, Raiders. Sometimes it was Broncos, Raiders. Sometimes it was Chargers, Raiders. But it moves around whoever's kind of good.
But it was always the Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders usually were involved. Eno, let me ask you, as the Padres get ready, likely for a wild card series, 3-game series, and they've got, 4 really good starting pitchers, and no offense to Martin Perez, who's been great as well. You want good stuff, like stuff plus in the playoffs, swing and miss stuff. How would Eno set up the Padres starting rotation based on what you've seen recently from the Padres starting pitching, which has been great?
Yeah, it's an embarrassment of riches, and I have a piece coming out tomorrow where I tried to look at some context neutral stuff plus informed projections, and I think I had the Padres as the best or second best rotation in the playoffs. So they've got a strength there, and I don't know. I don't actually know. I don't know. I'm stalling because I don't know.
That's fine. We don't know either. I mean, Michael King may be the best starter, but he also may be the best suited to come out of the bullpen. Of the 4 starters, do you leave you Darvish out of a 3-game series? That doesn't make any sense. But you can't leave Joe out. You certainly can't leave Cease out. So where does that leave you? I don't know. I don't envy Mike Schilt and AJ Preller on this one, kind of.
Cease is my game 1 starter, and I think that informs something, because if he comes out and wins it, then I can do a much more traditional sort of, we're just going to do the rotation after that, If he loses it, then a lot of this discussion goes out the window, because then it's Joe Musgrove for 2, and he puts a batter on, there's no tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it could be just everybody in the second game. So, I do think that King is probably slots in 4th just maybe for the seniority's sake. But in terms of quality, I think I might have it Cease, King, Musgrove, Darvish. But they're all, I think, like top 25, top 30 type pitchers for me. So the difference is fine, and it is a little bit more about who's willing to come out of the pen and what happens, I think, in Game 1. But easily for me, Dylan Cease starts Game 1.
Talking to Eno Sarris from The Athletic here on Ben and Woods this morning, and I'm sure you've discussed MLB's top pitching prospect, Jackson Jobe. I watched him last night make his major league debut, and it was pretty special. And you realize what exactly had a camera on him the whole time, and you realize quite a long run in from the bullpen out there. And you watch him, you watch his parents in the stands, and number 1 pitching prospect, drafted 3 years ago, comes in the middle of a pennant race and throws a flawless inning for the Detroit Tigers. He looks pretty nasty to me.
Oh yeah. And, he throws a 92-mile-an-hour cutter that looks like a slider, throws an 86-mile-an-hour sweeper, throws a 98-mile-an-hour fastball with a great ride. He's the real deal, and I expect him to have an impact. What I thought he would be to be a starter, but I think at this point they don't really have that many innings for him.
Yeah.
So I think his big, what he might be for them is a little bit of a Francisco Rodriguez type where, nobody's seen him. And it's really excellent stuff. So, I feel like he could come in and be the X factor. They look like they're making the playoffs.
100%.
I mean, it's a crazy run for them, and it's not set in stone yet. But the Twins have really fallen off to the point where the Twins and Mariners are on the outside right now, and they have to win some games to knock the Tigers or Royals out of the playoffs. So, somebody like Job is just a great person to call up in the last week because nobody's seen him. Even if they have scouting reports, it's not the same as standing in the box against him. And if they end up in a postseason series against the Royals, who they've seen a ton of times with the Guardians, they haven't seen Job. So at least they have one pitcher that they can go to, and he's just a really fun pitcher.
Talking to Eno Sarris from The Athletic. Last thing for me, Eno, what's your overall take on the Mets-Braves situation? Did Major League Baseball mess this up? I know, they're not responsible for the hurricane, but should they have handled this a different way? And what impact do you think it's going to have now on a potential wild card series? One of those two teams could be coming to San Diego to face the Padres.
Yeah, they are now set up for one of the nastiest 56 hours I've ever seen. If they need to play those games, and the commissioner's office may end up deciding it, because if they're both in the playoffs and it's just about seeding, they may not decide not to, depending on tiebreakers and all that. But if they have to play those games, they will play a doubleheader after the season's over, and then potentially the next day go into a wild card series. So that's like 4 games in 56 hours, and with everything on the line, not just like 4 games in August where you like call up your 27th man and somebody random starts for you. No, these are games where your best starters are starting and all your position players are starting, and everyone is exhausted. And everyone's standing by the coffee maker at all times. So that's what we're set it up for. I don't know who to necessarily blame. I mean, when weather is one of those tough. I grew up in Jamaica a little bit, and hurricanes. There's always like that. Is the hurricane coming our direction? Will it change path? So like the path isn't always known until like a day or two before. So they were watching it, and maybe they made the wrong decision. It would have been better, I think, if they'd played on Monday when there was an off day and at least gotten one game in case the path went towards them, and then the path did go towards them, and now they're in trouble. So, it's an unfortunate situation. I think, it's one of those things where the schedule, the way weather works, the commissioner's office, it all sort of conspired to make this happen. I think it's maybe mostly the commissioner's office fault, but, it's hard to point fingers when it comes to weather like this.
We're out of time, but at some point I'm going to need to hear more about your Jamaican riding experience. It's, just down the road when we've got some time to kill.
I've got a book planned. I don't know if people are ready for it.
I'm ready.
How much jerk chicken did you eat while you were there?
It's not the jerk chicken I'm interested in, Ben, from Jamaica. All right? Okay? You can get that anywhere.
There's all sorts of goodies there.
Oh, man. All right. Well, we'll get to it at some point. Thank you so much for your incredible contributions to our show this year. Just can't thank you enough, man.
Yeah, and I'm on for some appearances during the playoffs, too.
Boom.
And I'm really interested to see how this goes.
Love it.
Thanks, buddy. I've really enjoyed this, by the way, too.
Us too.
Appreciate that.
Thank you,
Eno Sarris, and again, thanks to 7 Mile Casino for making it possible all season long with Eno Sarris.
He is a part of the fabric of Ben and Woods.
People
now.
love Eno's laugh.
It's great.
I mean, they love Eno's laugh.
Eno is one of my favorite guests we've ever had.
So
never want to lose him.
So I've made him a weekly.
That's right.
It's like important to us.
How about a daily? Hey,
7 Mile?
can you make him
Wow.
a daily?
All right, Paulie's got some headlines in the Roundel Report. We haven't talked much other than baseball, so we'll see what else is on the plate today.
Baseball, actually.
Okay, more baseball coming up next on 97.3
Fine by
The Fan.
me.
Final hour. Not really, but not for any of us today. In fact, even Paulie is going to be doing the roundtable today. So let's be honest. Final 2 hours of Ben and Woods and Paul, and we'll be joined by Annie and Elston during the roundtable today. Gwen and Chris are off. Well, Tony's up in Los Angeles, and Chris is still on his vacation. He'll be back next week in time for the playoffs.
Tony's in L.A., and Gwen is in Los Angeles, and Junior is just north of San Diego.
I do believe, and we saw Adam this morning, we will be likely, and I don't think we can announce it yet, but we will likely have live shows next week out and about, assuming the Padres are playing playoff games next week, which is looking likely. So stay tuned to all of our channels, as it were, here, social media, to find out where you might be able to party with everybody next week.
How much partying are we going to do you think?
We do a lot of partying.
At 6 in the morning?
We've done some partying.
Yeah, we've done some shots and stuff. I mean, it's playoff. It'll be playoff.
We had a bunch
day.
of people down there.
We had,
everyone's going to want to do something.
We've had some amazing opening day events downtown.
Incredible.
The day when Jake Peavy showed up, still one of my favorites that we've ever had.
And I asked him about the red hot on his taint.
Was it this year at our home opener that we were eating giant plates of lobster and crab?
That was
this opening day, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, that was
incredible.
Yeah, San Diego opening day.
That was a lot of fun.
That was incredible.
So stay tuned.
Those playoff broadcasts in 22 are
Bananas.
super fun.
Well, listen, and one person I know will make an appearance there is one of our most loyal tier ones, Charisma. It is her birthday today. You know Charisma. If you're a Padres fan, you know who Charisma is. If you need Padres merch, you know that Charisma has it at some point. She has bought, if it's got a Padres logo on it, she will own it. So happy birthday to you. May you get all of the Padres merch that you don't have forever and ever.
I wonder what's on her list.
My wife is Junior Charisma now, just so you know. I mean, you can't stop her from buying Padres merch. We've got, it looks like the team store in my home right now. So
my Shelly asked if we could get the shirts, the postseason. Which one are they? So they have the Fight for the Faithful is their new slogan in the postseason.
Okay.
Kind of adding to the For the Faithful. They're adding a Fight for the Faithful. And then there
For the Faithful, Fight for the Faithful is better, but
and then October Ready. Oh, the ones the players were ready.
October Ready. I like those.
October Ready. You like those?
Yeah.
So they've got a whole bunch of playoff merch that is dropping, and I'm sure the Padres would be very happy if you bought as much of it as possible. I'm always torn because, like, you know, they'll put out, hey, wild card series and division series. Like, if your team goes
over.
If your team goes further, it's like, okay, well, I don't need that. And if they lose, it's like, well, I don't really want that anymore. So I'm more of a wait and see how far they go guy before I want to commit to my merch.
They win the pennant and go to the World Series, I'll wear a National League Champions t-shirt at, like, watching the World Series. But other than that, you got to wait and see what happens. Yeah. If they win the World Series, you want the World Series Champions t-shirt. Not the wild card
That's why
round.
October Ready is kind of smart. It's
October Ready is great.
It keeps it open. Fight for the Faithful is vague enough that you can always wear that. Doesn't matter how they do in the playoffs, so that's kind of smart.
They're probably furious at you right now because they want to sell more shirts.
I'm sure they will. Their shirts seem to be appropriate to buy.
I like October Ready a lot. I like that a lot. It's a good idea. Where do we get those? Just on the website? Padres.com.
Paulie, are you September 26th ready for the Ryle Report?
I am.
All right. And get things started here with our today's edition of the Ryle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Ryle Report with Paul Ryle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Ryle Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Gentlemen, not everything has to be a Netflix series or a Netflix film or a Netflix documentary. Saw yesterday that Major League Baseball and Netflix have partnered up on a short film, and it's going to be about the Philadelphia Phillies fan, and if I remember correctly, radio host or producer. At WIP, I think, is their flagship.
The Paul Rindle.
John Marks told us all about him.
Yeah, the Paul Rindle of Philadelphia. Paul, how would they say his name?
Pool.
No, not Pool.
Paulie?
No, that's in New York.
Water.
Pool.
I don't know.
Pool Rindle.
It's not, though, because I would never have ran with this idea.
With this scenario.
Personally. What is this scenario?
What's the scenario for this movie?
Yo, call me when you get your phone.
If it was just that guy, I'd watch a documentary about him.
Him and him alone.
Yo, call me when you get your
Might
phone.
be facing them in about a week and a half.
You never know.
Very good chance of it,
If my
actually.
buddy Steve Weiland from Philly is listening, call in now and tell us how to say Paulie in Philly. I'm begging you.
So if you don't remember last year, things were not going so well for Trey Turner, and a radio show out in Philadelphia came up with the idea of, hey, we need to rally together and really support him. He is in a horrible slump right now. Let's give him standing ovations. Let's let him know that we are behind him. And he turned things around. Trey Turner's a very good baseball player.
He was going to
I'm
turn
guessing
things
he was going
around.
to turn things around. I
Yes.
don't know that he had the yips permanently and was just
Forgot how to play.
washed for his career. But Major League Baseball and Netflix. It's called The Turnaround, and it will premiere on Netflix on October 18th.
So it's the story of that guy's idea. They'll have like probably their YouTube feed that day, like, hey, I got a great idea. How about this for a scenario? We all give him a standing ovation.
And then the dramatic ending is when the whole stadium gets up and cheers him, and he hits a home run.
One big ovation. That's how we'll do it. One
now you
big
sound like
ovation.
a surfer dude.
No,
from
it's
the
different.
1980s.
Ovation.
Valley.
Ovation. Scenario. Water. Stop throwing water at Trey Turner.
I think we're stretching the concept of what documentaries need to be made about at this point.
That's true.
Short film, documentary, call it whatever you want.
Okay.
But I do like most of Netflix's, especially their sports stuff. I don't know that this one required a film.
Are you jealous that he is the producer getting a short film made about him and you don't have a short film in the works?
I'd be terrified.
That
I would
I
not
know
want
of.
that. I would not want that at all.
A day in the life of Paul Rindle.
Maybe just a vignette, not even a short film.
It's like a 30-second YouTube clip. I'm up, I did the show, and now I'm
TikTok.
going home.
Morph my voice.
Yeah.
So I came up with the idea.
What was that social media channel that used to exist where you could only post like 7-second videos?
Oh, Vine.
Vine,
It was
that's
brilliant.
right. Vine.
Brilliant.
Vine-
One of the best things I've ever seen.
Vine walked, so TikTok could now run.
And TikTok sucks.
It's everywhere.
And Vine was just amazing.
I never got into Vine.
Oh, 7 seconds of bliss. AKA the Hannah and Carol
what
Wood
says
story.
Bring back Vine.
Bring back Vine. Oh, it's great.
Hey, Padres win it all, and they want to include this show on a documentary.
I'm in.
I'm in for that.
Yeah.
Because
I feel like they would need to be shooting now, though. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
that's a good point.
Well, were they shooting? I don't know.
Well, we could be the talking heads who they sit and interview, like,
it'll be, just so you guys
I
know,
remember that day.
Just strap in now. It'll be our competition. Just so you know. I want you to brace yourself for that right now.
Yes.
Okay? And you will see me. You'll see me at my very worst.
Probably Welsh Fryer starring in it.
Narrated by Welsh Fryer, the 30 for 30.
We love you, Welsh.
Hello.
That's fine.
Oh,
I do love Welsh.
I love Welsh Fryer too. This is not a knock on Welsh Fryer.
He didn't do anything wrong.
No.
All right. Next up in baseball, I think I told you guys about this. I don't remember if we talked about it. There, speaking of Netflix, there was a series called The King of Collectibles that I watched, and it's with Golden Company, and it's all about really cool sports, entertainment, memorabilia, and they put it up on auction, and I got really sucked into it. Some of the cool items that this guy has acquired and they put on auction, guys want to sell them or they consign them.
He buys it all.
Yeah.
He buys the merch
and like
then
some of the
sells
big stuff, like the Holy Grail cards or something. You know, he's like, all right, look, I've never done this. I will guarantee you, I will give you $500,000 for the card right now without even listing it on the website, and I'm confident we can make at least that much money. It's fascinating. That man, Ken Golden, got his hands on, they teased it. I watched a video. I follow them on Instagram. A locked item arrived at their office at like 10 o'clock at night, and they did the Sopranos, like, cold, dark ending. They wouldn't tell you what it was. couple days later, they unveiled what was in the case. It was the Shohei Ohtani 50th home run baseball. You saw the dog pile,
the 50-50 baseball.
Everybody going nuts for that baseball. And the guy that grabbed the ball got in touch with, I'm sure, every major company that does auctions and everything and sports memorabilia. I'm sure he was getting blown up on his phone. But he went with Golden Company, and it's going to be listed on, it starts on Friday. The auction opens up. It's opening at $500,000 for that baseball. So I don't know what he guaranteed to the fan that caught the ball, but I guess it begs the question, all right, if that's you, if you get that ball, if you get any significant ball, what do you do?
Depends on who it is.
You sell it? It does depend on who it is.
Yeah. If it's one of my guys, Manny hits his 500th, Toddy hits his 500th. I'm trading it to them for a signed bat and a picture and a lap dance. That's it. I mean, from them.
And $250,000.
No, I probably don't even ask my guys for cash. Not if it's my guys. Now, if it's a dirty
You've
Dodger.
given up. This would be $500,000 or more. That's the starting bid.
Adam Paul says, not so fast, guys. There's a lawsuit over this. ESPN reported the guy who the ball was stolen from.
There is, yes.
Oh, so one of the guys had his hands on it also?
An 18-year-old fan says that he caught the ball and he's seeking an injunction to stop this auction from starting. I haven't gotten all the details on that yet. I don't know what he's claiming. If he's like, this is actually the ball. I mean, I saw the baseball in the case. It's got the MLB authentication on it.
Here's the twist, though. There's no law that says you get to keep whatever you catch in the stands at a Major League Baseball game.
Isn't there?
Major League Baseball would be well within their rights of going, any ball hit into the stands must be returned immediately to the ushers. Now, they don't because it's part of the fun and people enjoy it.
Where would that be written? Is that on the back of a ticket stub that they don't even give out anymore?
But, like, you go to, like, a high school game and, they need the baseballs. It's like, hey, can you return that, please?
Yeah, the football goes into the stands. They're like, we need it back.
You can't keep it at most sporting venues. It's only in Major League and minor league professional games where you actually get to keep the baseball. But there's no law that says,
lacrosse, you get to keep
possession is 9/10 of the law here.
Well,
you're at a private venue, at their, you bought a ticket, but that doesn't give you unlimited rights to everything. You can't just take everything. You can't just, maybe in Oakland you can. You can't just steal everything. Those balls belong to the teams. And they could ask for them back. I would think legally they would be on very firm ground if they said, sir, you must return that ball. It's ours.
I need
it's not
money.
Yours.
This is great. He says, if I caught the Shohei ball, I'm sending it to a lab to test how juiced it is. Then I sell it for $68 million of deferred payments. That's actually really, really brilliant.
Good.
I'd probably gamble it away and then blame Paul for it.
I think you say...
gamble the ball away?
Gamble the ball away? On the table? Right, for a poker poker tournament?
You get that ball, you get your offer from the king of collectibles, say $500,000. You say, all right, Ohtani, can you beat it? You want it? How bad do you want it? How bad do the Dodgers want it? We know they don't have a problem spending money.
Well, you asked the question. If I catch Manny Machado's 500th home run ball, you're damn right. I'm going to go, this is yours. You've earned this. I want a picture with you, another one, and I want a signed bat, and that's pretty much it. One for my kids, something for the kids. And
what if you had to sit in a kayak all season to catch it, though? Does he deserve to get it back?
Thank God I did not have to sit in the kayak. Has Manny earned it, is what I would ask him. No,
I guess what if it's not... Okay, take away the personal connections to the Padres and the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Mike Trout hits, you caught his famous home run. Do you give
Mike
it back?
Trout, I probably do. Same thing, though. Jersey, bat, pretty cool. I'm not asking for money from these guys. It's a baseball.
It's life-changing money.
It's a lot of money.
I mean, it is. You could get it, but I just would feel dirty. Be like, hey, I want $500,000 for this ball of this incredible
But you wouldn't if it was a player you hated?
Correct.
That's your own value judgment.
I would drive the price through the roof.
Yeah.
I didn't catch one because it was coming in real hot, but at a Gulls game years ago, got a puck. It hit the empty seat next to me, the chair
You
back.
don't want to catch a puck.
It came in flying. Bam! I'm like, oh my God. I thought we were going to die. Picked it up. I'm like, it's really heavy. That is dangerous.
And frozen.
Yes.
And stay away from those.
All right. And then finally, holiday drink season is almost upon us.
I'm very happy.
And we got a new one coming out from 7-Up. They are releasing canned Shirley Temple drinks. 7-Up Shirley Temple flavored sodas.
Now, 7-Up made cherry 7-Up for years, and it was really, really good. Like, really good. What is the difference in a cherry 7-Up and a Shirley Temple?
Well, Shirley Temple is made with grenadine, which is the syrup.
Which I thought was cherry juice.
Which is pomegranate flavored.
So what I've got is Shirley Temple soda from 7-Up, a pomegranate and cherry flavored soda that could be used for several different Christmas time holiday drinks.
I just drink it. I love Shirley Temples.
You did like Shirley Temples.
I still do.
When you were 9.
No,
That's
still
when I
drink
like
them.
Shirley Temples.
I still drink them.
And then you stopped liking Shirley Temples when you grow up.
I still drink them now.
I haven't had a Shirley Temple in... I love Shirley Temple.
Mix one in every now and then.
When you get older, then your palate evolves and you drink adult beverages, not Shirley Temples.
No,
that's
not
what
necessarily.
That's what your kids order when you go to a nice restaurant.
I will also have one with my kids. I also hug my children, and it's a fun thing we do. We hug and we drink Shirley Temples together. Yes. Ooh, somebody said there's something called a dirty Shirley.
Yeah, you can put vodka in it, make it a dirty Shirley.
You're so gross. I'm so in. I want to try a dirty Shirley. That looks really
Which
tasty.
is really inappropriate. Shirley Temple was a child actress. You really shouldn't be referring to her that way, but no one even remembers her anymore because that was like 80 years ago.
She eventually grew up.
She did.
She did. She wasn't perpetually a child.
But it was named after it because it was a kid's drink named after a child actress.
Right.
And it's not a beverage for adults. I always liked a Roy Rogers a little better anyway.
What's a Roy Rogers?
That's a Coke with grenadine.
Oh, it's delicious. A cherry Coke.
Yeah, cherry Coke. But with grenadine,
Delicious.
a pomegranate. Grenadine syrup.
I never knew that was called a Roy Rogers.
I had a buddy. He was too afraid to order a Shirley Temple.
That's embarrassing.
So he said, "Can I get a Roy Rogers but with Sprite?"
Roy Rogers, hold the Roy and the Shirley.
The server goes, "So you want a Shirley Temple?" He's like, yeah.
It is embarrassing as an adult to order a Shirley Temple.
I don't find it embarrassing.
You actually don't either.
Do
Do you order them yourself at restaurants?
Yeah, my kids don't order their own, so I order from ourselves.
You order one for yourself.
Not when I'm by myself.
Okay.
When I'm with my kids, I will drink the F out of a Shirley Temple with them and end up drinking most of theirs.
I do love that they put the maraschino cherries in it, though.
If we're out and about, I mean, that's Shirley Temple's like my go-to for.
Is it really?
No, not for me, but for my wife. She doesn't drink, so she'll just, "Can I get a Shirley Temple?" If they don't have like mocktails or something, and I'm
Delicious.
like, "Mocktail, a little bit of that."
Should we update it with a more modern actress?
We should. Like a Angelina
Emma
Jolie.
Stone.
Yeah, the Emma
Stone.
Stone. Perfect.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'll have an Emma Stone, please.
The Angelina Jolie. It's just dark. Blood sausage in it, maybe. I'm in. I can't wait for this. I'll buy a case of it when it comes out. Or I'll buy a 12-pack. When's it coming out? Thanksgiving?
I don't have a release date for it.
Right.
I will,
The holidays. That's kind of...
Yeah.
It's very vague.
Yeah. I mean, at Costco, you can buy a Christmas tree right now. So let's bring out the Shirley Temple sodas. And that is the Ryle Report. You have an under-the-table like Netflix sponsorship that I don't know about? A lot of Netflix-related content.
I pay for it, and they just raised our prices, actually.
I see. Keep saying. I hate when I open an app and they go, "Next month we're going to be charging you $22 a month."
Netflix is they're going to ads now. So if the basic version, which is what I've had forever, no ads. Now, if you want to keep that price, I think it's still raising like $2 a month, and now you got to sit through ads like most other streaming services.
There's ads there?
There's going to be. Netflix is. You can pay more to get the non-ad version.
Say no more.
Yes. You won't have to worry about it.
Say no more.
We've got more La Mesa Oktoberfest tickets to give away, where you can get a more adult beverage than a Shirley Temple. And we will look ahead to tonight's series finale against the Dodgers. One more chance. Keep your at least somewhat hopes alive for an NL West title. Requires a win tonight. Get to that right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
All right, here we go.
We'll get back to baseball in just a minute, and we got those tickets to give away to La Mesa Oktoberfest. But you know what we do on Thursdays in our 9:20 segment,
We
right?
get sexy.
We do get a little sexy. Let's get sexy.
Can Ben and Woods interest you in a threesome?
A threesome would be fun.
Oh, not that kind of threesome.
Dang it!
We're talking end-arounds, the best tight ends in the world.
He must work out.
And going all the way in this game of inches.
Nice.
It's the NFL threesome with Ben and Woods. Brought to you by Hamul Casino. Fun above all else on 97.3 The Fan.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He's giving them the business.
Start our football threesome with a look ahead to tonight's Thursday night matchup, and it is an NFC East rivalry as the Dallas Cowboys visit the New York Giants. And
Battle of Mid.
Both teams at 1 and 2, and it seems like, now you lived in Dallas, and I don't totally understand the dynamic of Jerry Jones. You know, he's the owner, he's the GM. Seems like, from an outsider's perspective, he's been out of touch for a long time with like the modern NFL, doesn't know how to put together a winning team anymore. But he's also willing to spend on his team and is generally a fairly popular owner. They're starting to get wise to it, it seems like.
I mean, it's been 40 years. You know what I mean? Like, you can't really say after 40 years. I think we're catching on. This has been a thing in Dallas for a long, long time. And, obviously had some early success, winning a lot of Super Bowls. And you lose Jimmy Johnson, and it's just been a train. You won one with Barry Switzer, just randomly.
And had some decent regular seasons with Tony Romo, but then always flame out in the playoffs.
And then you got Dak Prescott, and his whole tenure has been, tenuous
got his
at
money
best.
now,
got his
though,
money, and ended up with a pretty hard. They're always a little overhyped, and by a little I mean a lot.
Yeah. All right. What's your most intriguing matchup of the weekend, Woods?
Oh, that's a good question, man. I think tonight's game is, it's a couple of 1 and 2 teams, but traditionally they've been decent games. Bills Ravens is good. Ravens
that's the Sunday night game. That's a good one.
Ravens haven't gotten on track yet,
but they played better last week.
Yep.
I think the Minnesota Vikings
3-0 Minnesota Vikings
are
by the way.
An incredibly interesting story. They're going to Green Bay. It's a Sunday morning game, our time, for an NFC North. That's a big rivalry game as well. The Packers are favored by 2.5 points, but the Vikings have been undoubtedly a shock after a tumultuous offseason, injuries. Had the rookie draft pick who was killed tragically. Quarterback situation, they lose. They lose their top draft pick from Michigan, J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah,
for the season. So he's out. Yet here they are, sitting at 3-0 under Kevin O'Connell. This is a big game. If they win this one, they're definitely for real. And I think that's a very intriguing matchup on Sunday morning, 10 a.m. CBS game. And then you got a best bet. Last week, our best bet.
Least intriguing game.
Sure,
the least intriguing game this weekend.
Yeah, there's a doubleheader Monday Night Football again next week. Tennessee 0-3 against Miami, who do they even have a quarterback?
That line is 1 point. It's just
the over-under is where you want to look there. 36.5. It's the lowest one of the week in football.
Yikes.
Lions Seahawks be a good matchup though on Monday night.
Yes,
the second
Seahawks
game.
are undefeated too. Another big surprise. And our new coach Mike McDonald, Pete Carroll leaves, and then all of a sudden they win their first 3. That's unexpected.
The easy money this weekend, you think? We were terrible last week.
Terrible.
I picked the
Paulie got his right.
He
took the Seahawks. I was awful. I took New Orleans, and then they just fell apart last week. Who'd you take last week and lose on?
Chargers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Kansas City -7 visiting the Chargers.
I'm with you there.
You're going the absolute opposite that you did. I will go, it's the biggest line of the week. Oh, they're injured, but I don't think San Francisco is going to 1-3. I think they clobber the Patriots this week,
at that one
and
well.
I think that's
it's
like
a huge
20,
line, though.
I know it's 10, but I think that's like a 20 to 30 point win. I'm going to go with San Francisco at home.
Rams are getting 3 points against the Bears, and Caleb Williams has not looked.
Well,
good.
they're not protecting him.
Isn't that funny how
no
that always
offensive
works?
line.
Right. It's weird how that works. When it's a quarterback you like, he has no protection.
It's more that
when
I have
it's a quarterback
DeAndre.
that you
I have
hate,
DeAndre
he sucks.
It's more that I have DeAndre Swift on my
terrible.
fantasy team, and there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to go anywhere. With
No,
that team.
I saw a breakdown of him yesterday. They were showing actually how he has plenty of space to run. He just always makes the wrong cuts.
I benched him, so no.
So he'll go off.
Not working out well for me.
I'll take the Rams in points against the Bears.
All right, that's not a bad call though. Right. And that's our football threesome.
I feel satisfied and satiated.
Good.
Yep.
All right, it's time to give away some more tickets to the La Mesa Oktoberfest. These are VIP tickets for the Sunday session on October 6th. The entire La Mesa Oktoberfest runs the 4th through the 6th of October. They've got VIP tickets available for purchase, kid and dog activities, beer gardens, and more. Just go to lamesaoktoberfest.org for details. But if you want to win a pair, be the fourth caller right now at 833-288-0973. Fourth caller, 833-288-0973. Give those away, and then we'll look ahead to tonight's Padres-Dodgers matchup in our final segment before the roundtable coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan. Just thought of something.
What?
So we got our roundtable coming up.
The roundtable.
Each Thursday, we quickly end our show at 9:54.
Right.
And then walk over to our sound space, where every single Thursday there's been pizzas and breadsticks and some wings and salads ready for us, ready to go. Cookies, yeah, delicious roundtable pizza. I just checked and confirmed. Roundtable Pizza doesn't open until 11 a.m. Who has been coming in like early every single Thursday, like at 9 or earlier, and like making special pizzas just for us every single week to be delivered hot and fresh by 10 a.m. so they're there for our roundtable? That's cool, isn't it?
Telling me our boss Adam inconvenienced someone. I'm shocked by that
Someone
news.
has had to make our pizzas
I'm shocked.
hours before Roundtable opens every single Thursday this year.
Not necessarily.
Do you think they're reheated from the night before?
Could be day olds.
They say it. They taste
They
pretty
taste
fresh.
good.
They taste pretty fresh.
If they open at 11, somebody's there. They got preppers there early.
They do.
And yeah, somebody might have to come in a little bit early, but in general, I bet people are there because they got, corporate orders, lunches, and stuff. They don't have to wait until 11.
The catering orders, Jersey Mike's, I've been before. I pulled
Early,
up, and I'm like, oh, what time do you guys open? It says 11, but I see 40 people there making sandwiches for corporate orders. So I bet it's pretty standard.
Well, whoever it is, thank you. We appreciate it. I've
you.
enjoyed the pizza all year long. Roundtable really is one of my absolute favorites.
Yeah, it's
been
delicious
since childhood.
I want
just
some now.
Love
Is it down in
Roundtable
there?
Pizza. It's not there yet. You can smell it instantly when it's here. You walk out of the studio, and the first thing you smell is delicious Roundtable Pizza.
Salespeople all huddled around it,
vultures
waiting for us. They know they're supposed to wait until we're done with it before they can then swoop in, but sometimes they can't. Yeah. They can't help themselves.
I don't blame them.
It smells so good.
It's delicious.
All right. We will have a lot to discuss on our roundtable coming up at 10 o'clock this morning.
Anything that we haven't covered today?
I will let you know.
Okay.
Right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Ale Smith 394 Pale Ale. We are seeing some improvements on our roads, guys. Really no incidents or accidents. And just an update on that aircraft emergency up on the 76. They have towed that airplane away, causing congestion all morning, especially on the eastbound lanes of the 76 near Canyon Drive. But yeah, we're seeing an improvement in speeds there. Ale Smith 394 Pale Ale, the official rally pint of the playoff push. Catch all the San Diego baseball action this week at the Ale Smith Tasting Room in Miramar. Enjoy specials on 394 and more while you cheer on your team with fellow fans. Don't miss the excitement. I love that place. I got to get back there. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, one topic that we really haven't discussed, and I did see some speculation on it last night, and hopefully we'll get to it during the roundtable, are the final roster moves that you expect for the postseason. Padres currently have 28 players on their roster. They're going to have to get that down to 26. Whittle it down to 26 for the playoff roster. Probably submit that on Monday or Tuesday morning at the latest.
And each round is different. It will be
You
different
can
people.
submit different rosters for the different rounds.
So I think, you look at a 3-game series and you decide, what do we need?
I think you still have to do the 13 pitchers, 13 position players.
13 and 13 has got to be the move.
That's still the rule, because that's the rule in the regular season as well.
Okay.
Probably don't need 13 pitchers in a 3-game series, to be honest.
You hope not.
No off days, though, so I guess you never know for sure. But I think what the real, I don't want to say dilemma, is good problem. But if Ha-Seong Kim comes back, then you've got to clear a spot for him as well. Now, you've got your speedy guys at the back of the roster. Tyler Wade, who's been around all season. But Brandon Lockridge, who stole another base last night, seems like he might be your fastest option for needing a bag or needing to score from first on a double.
And your outfield defensive replacement.
Late in the game. So if you keep him, is there a spot for Tyler Wade, which seems just cruel after you've been on literally. I mean, has he missed? He's been around the whole season,
the whole
right?
season.
From the whole year.
Hasn't been sent down.
Hasn't been on the injured list.
Yeah.
He's been a member of the Padres for the entire year.
Yeah, buddy.
Could you say, sorry, Tyler, but we're going to put Brandon on the team, and we just don't have a spot for you.
So I don't know what you read into last night's deployment of the two guys that you're talking about right now, but Tyler Wade did come in with 2 outs on first base with a rise up And Luis Arraez, as he does, swung at the first pitch and popped out. Tyler Wade just kind of standing there, burned completely. Didn't need him for anything at that point.
But they used him first.
They used him first. Now, what does that tell you? It was a little earlier. It was in the 7th. But then in the 8th, when you needed to steal a bag, or in the 9th, when you needed to steal a bag desperately, they went to Lockridge. And what did he do? He stole a bag. So if you're Mike Schilt, you go, bing, mental note, Brandon Lockridge just swiped me a big bag that could have tied the game.
So Kevin Acey in his newsletter this morning, last note at the bottom, said Brandon Lockridge has likely cemented his spot on the postseason roster as a defensive replacement and pinch runner, stole his second base in 2 tries last night. Maybe an opinion. I don't know if he's hearing something, but it does make a lot of sense. Speaking of stolen bases, little online controversy during the game last night that we haven't discussed, and that was Xander Bogaerts' attempted steal at second, in which the Padres telecast showed a replay that pretty much looked like they whiffed on the tag, that it never was put on, and everyone, including myself, going, why are the Padres not challenging this? At the very least, it seems like it would be a tough call that could possibly go your way. Why are you not challenging this? And then Woods posts a picture of a completely different angle. Looked pretty clear, like tagged him right on the elbow going by.
Very
and it wasn't.
obvious,
So I guess the Dodgers had a different angle on their telecast that made it look pretty clear he was tagged.
Got a buddy that sent it to me. I didn't. The fact that you thought I went to another broadcast and was able to pull something is funny.
When I posted, looked like he missed the tag. Why aren't they challenging? I had Dodgers fans who follow me on my feed going, are you being sarcastic? What am I missing here?
Yeah.
He was obviously tagged, and I go, I don't see how you're seeing that.
By the way, even when I sent Ben the video evidence of the thing with real close up, he goes,
I had seen
"No."
I had seen the other one already that looked so clear. Like where was the tag?
Because it was on the throw down. It was the second he caught the ball. That just timed out perfectly.
I think it does raise an important point about replay, though, and that is, even with video evidence, sometimes your eyes can deceive you. Because if they only had that one angle that they showed on the Padres telecast, I would have overruled that and said,
I would have
he's
lost
safe.
my mind, yeah.
I would have overruled it and said, absolutely safe. Now, obviously, there was another angle that existed.
That Mike Schilt saw, or
that I'm sure that they had access to, and that's why they didn't challenge.
Again, I think the reaction or non-reaction from Xander Bogaerts tells you everything you need to know. The guy knows when he's out.
I agree with that as well.
If Xander got up and threw his helmet down, so you out of your mind, he never touched me. Xander hung his head, ripped his gloves off, and walked, back to the dugout, and that tells you everything you need to know. I mean, look, there are guys in the big leagues that they have a play and they stand up and they do this, and you're like, buddy, what are you talking about? You're out by 4 feet. But that one, he just no protest whatsoever at all. So,
which also does lead me to believe that he felt it.
Oh, yeah.
He was tagged, and even though that other video review. Very much. I mean, I was like, I see nothing that even
the
comes
first one
close to a tag there.
The fact that they're running on Noodle Arm Smith that's good. That's a good thing. And they've had a bunch of swipes
up until that point too.
I thought,
and we didn't talk about it about the first game when the Padres won and clinched the playoff spot. You had the great play where the Padres threw down when they had first and third, and then got Mookie off of third, cut it off, got Mookie off of third. The Dodgers have been terrified to even throw it down. Anytime the Padres have first and third and they send the guy, you can walk over to second because they're terrified to make that throw down against the Padres. That's an advantage there. That's a base running advantage that the Padres have over the Dodgers.
All day long. So, tonight's going to be an interesting one. Tonight's going to be an interesting one in that Walker Buehler's on the mound, Joe Musgrove's on the mound. You know how Joe feels about the Dodgers. I did think Dylan Cease was just a little bit too amped up last night and trying to overthrow a little bit. I mean, I don't know anything, about pitching at that level, but he was just kind of losing the zone early. But hey, man, if Joe can go in and settle in tonight, Benny, it could be a really fun one.
He's never beaten the Dodgers.
Has he never beaten them?
What? My research was right. In 12 career starts, he is 0-7 with a 4.48 against them.
Time to make it happen.
All right,
this is the offense picks him up.
Does that not
against
blow
Buehler.
your mind? You're like,
No
way.
Blows my mind.
I'm betting on him
because
tonight.
he knows they're big games, and Joe pitches well in big games.
Yeah, he does.
Joe has been outside of that one weird
6 minutes
inning, has been so good since he came off the injured list. I expect that to continue tonight. Walker Buehler, you've brought the point up a number of times, has been a mess in his return from injury. His last few starts, last time out, 5 1/3 against the Rockies, 4 runs. He did have a decent start against Atlanta 2 times ago. 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, just 1 earned. But he did walk 5 in that start as well. And after that, 5 runs, 5 innings, 2 runs, 4 2/3, 4 runs, 4 innings, 3 runs, 3 innings, 4 runs, 4 innings, 7 runs, 5 innings, 3 runs, 3 innings, 4 runs, 6 innings, 4 runs. Guy has been giving up offense consistently. Yep. And the Padres' magic number, we talked about it a couple days ago, when they score 4, best record in baseball.
That's right.
We get to like 78-11 or something. However, the first 2 games gone, Padres got 4 the first game. They won. Didn't get to 4 yesterday. They didn't win. It's been very much a magic number. Get at least 3 off Buehler. 4 would be better, but they used their high leverage relievers yesterday. I'm sure they're available today if they need them, but you can kind of have the advantage again of having your ASS back, your bullpen ready to go.
Let's just say ass. You're a grown-ass man. You make fun of me for drinking Shirley Temples. You won't say ass.
I am a grown ASS man.
You won't say it. No, look, dude, the offense needs to start to come together a little bit more, as we talked about earlier in the show. But, yeah, I think you get some runs off of Buehler early. He is the guy. And really, I mean, I thought you had good ABs off Flaherty as well. I thought you had good ABs the night before. I mean, they're a tough team. There's no doubt. And, of course, I'm not going to lie to you and sit there and tell you when I don't see Shohei Ohtani striding to the plate that I'm like, oh, boy. I mean, he is truly the most locked-in hitter on the planet right now. 9 for 10 in his last with runners in scoring position.
Yes.
Is that right? 9 for 10.
His last 10.
That's insane, man. That's insane.
I pitched to him in the first, leading off.
Pitched him in the first.
After that, I'm going to be pretty careful.
Yep.
And, I know Mookie and Freddie can absolutely hurt you. They have not. Freddie's poked a couple of other way base hits, but
you have to take your chances right now with them.
Right now, you take your chances with Mookie. He's in a bit of a slump. He could break out of it tonight easily.
Yeah, I just don't see a long 0 for stretch from Mookie Betts.
But Shohei is absolutely been on fire lately. You've probably been lucky to keep him in the yard. Just top spin is the only thing that has kept him in the yard.
Pretty much. I mean, he's hit those balls so hard.
116 miles an hour off the bullpen gate yesterday. If you get out of the series and he doesn't hit a home run, that's a minor victory there. And if the Dodgers don't hit any home runs in this series, and they didn't in the first 2, correct?
Yeah.
No Dodgers home runs.
Dub.
They can do that one more day. I think the Padres take the game, win the series, and get out of there with 2 out of 3, which is excellent. Maybe not what we were hoping for, but
excellent.
Still absolutely excellent to go on the road against the World Series favorites and take 2 out of 3 in their yard in September as you're going into the playoffs.
Right.
That's terrific.
Phenomenal.
And I will be a little disappointed that it wasn't a sweep.
I know.
That would be terrific to do that tonight.
Can't wait, man. Cannot wait. Geeked up for it, as I was last night.
Just wish it wasn't at 7:10.
It's brutal. It is absolutely brutal. But you know what? I'll take it, man. We got hopefully a lot more baseball games to come.
I don't understand, and I'm not. You know me. I'm not the conspiracy theorist. Most teams, like they make the Padres when the Tigers are in town for a series in the 3rd game. They make them start it early so the team can leave and get to their next destination earlier, even an hour early. 6:40 becomes 5:40 or 3:40. Why don't they make the Dodgers do that? The Padres have to fly. I know it's only to Arizona.
Wednesday games, the getaway games are usually 1:10.
Yeah,
but you'll see a 3:40 if they're like, they're only going up to L.A. or something.
Why don't they make the Dodgers do that? The Padres do have to fly. They have to get on a plane. They have to go to Arizona. They have to play a game tomorrow. Why aren't the Dodgers made to start the game at least at 5:10 or 6:10? I mean, just a little bit of a concession for the opposing team that has to leave and travel. The Dodgers have to travel. They have to go to Coors Field. Why don't they want to start the game early?
Yeah, it's true.
That's nuts to me that they're starting the game at 7:10 in the 3rd game of the series.
Makes you wonder. Adam says the Padres used to have 7:05 games, so what are you complaining about? We did when they were 7:05. We complained.
But the last game of the series,
that was stupid then.
Remember
It's
that
stupid
they
now.
call them the business person specials on Thursday? It wasn't really a business person schedule. It was the getaway day.
Getaway day for the
It's
players.
how the travel in baseball works. The last game of the series is early, so the team can get on a plane, fly to where they need to go, and not get there at 4 in the morning.
Well, just so you know,
with a game the next day.
Just so you know, this Dodgers has affected our Friday show.
It has.
It has affected our Friday show, and now, because of the late start, we will be without Skipper Mike Schilt tomorrow on the Ben and Woods program. He will be joining Scravy and Gwen in the afternoon because they get in at 3 o'clock in the morning in Arizona. And I said, no problem. I want my skipper fresh. It's not about my ego.
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather have my guy with a belly full of corn dogs and hot wings rested up in his hotel room. Okay? So we will not have the skipper tomorrow. He will be on the station, just won't be with us. And just goes to show you what good sports we are. Enjoy it, guys.
Please.
Enjoy it.
I just hope we have a chance to still talk to the skipper during the postseason.
Me too. Alicia says, boo, no Mike. I know. We're bummed about it, too.
Blame the Dodgers.
Blame the Dodgers.
Blame the Dodgers.
Well, we don't like to start early. Shohei needs to sleep. Something.
Like, they got it worse than we do, having to fly to Colorado.
They do.
Correct.
They do. It
Was
makes
that
no
a 35-minute flight from LA to
no sense
Arizona?
whatsoever. You can't get Dodger fans to show up a couple hours earlier to a game. Of course you can't.
Sad.
All right, Roundtable is coming up next with all three of us. So don't go anywhere on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3.